Manitoba. It is Thursday, August 14th. You're watching CTV Morning Live. Thank you so much for being with us. Ainsley McPhail is live at Folklorama again today, and today she's visiting the Polish Pavilion. We're going to sort of get a journey on the taste, the sounds, and of course the dancing, and so stay with us for that. But first, your headlines. Another landfill search on the horizon. What we know as the Premier lays out plans to search the Brady landfill for 2 missing women. Air Canada and flight attendants at a standstill. Cancellations start today as talks remain deadlocked. Your vacuum's trash could be your next pair of slippers. A London man shows us how. Bringing in Terry now. It was not a bad evening last night. Went for a walk. It was beautiful.
It was a beautiful evening. I agree with you on that one. I mean, we had really nice temperatures. They never got too hot through the day. It was pleasant. The winds were light. The sun was shining. We're probably not going to be seeing conditions similar to that today. Instead, it will get pretty hot. We're already starting out well above seasonal. 16 degrees, south-southeast winds. They're 27 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 78%. In the dark this morning because the sun hasn't risen yet, but I can show you our warnings map, which is lit up a couple different colors this morning. Nothing to do with the smoke. We still have all of those smoke warnings gone throughout the province, but today it's the storms that we're keeping an eye on, and as a result we have a warning and a watch regarding those thunderstorms that'll be moving through northern Manitoba, where the precipitation doesn't read on the satellite image, but you can see what's happening further into the south here and making its way, about to roll over Winnipeg in an hour or so. We could be seeing the showers, thunderstorms, and in areas just to the north of us, it's looking even angrier. But northern Manitoba, you're going to get it. Don't get me wrong. It's just not reading on our satellite image. But in fact, the bulk of the activity today will be across northern Manitoba, with a little bit more dragging down into parts of the south. But northern Manitoba is in for a good solid soaking for a couple of days. Overnight into tomorrow, you're still going to be dealing with this. Here in the south, we're looking to return to clearer, sunnier conditions for tomorrow. Maybe some possible showers once we're looking into those overnight hours. 29 today. That's bringing the heat. So 25 is in fact normal for this time of year. We will drop off from those numbers and settle down a little bit, slightly cooler or more seasonal as we're looking into the weekend.
Thank you, Terry. Manitoba Premier Canola says a preliminary search of Brady Road landfill for the remains of 2 missing women is underway. Ashley Shingoose was one of 4 women murdered by a serial killer in Winnipeg in 2022. Tanya Nipanak went missing in 2011, and investigators have long believed her remains were also put into a dumpster and sent to the landfill.
The focus that we're working on right now is Ashley Shingoose, because we have the information about the cell that we believe where she's located, but we are making plans to search for Tanya Nipanak as well.
The Premier says crews began what he called a test phase earlier this week. It involves a preliminary excavation to find out what kind of material workers will be digging through and what sort of safety protocols will need to be in place. Ground penetrating radar and other test sampling is also underway. Canoe added they'll be trying out some new methods to narrow down the search without going into details. He said the search itself will get underway later this year and more details will be coming soon. Air Canada is gradually canceling flights starting today. The union, representing more than 10,000 Air Canada flight attendants, issued a 72-hour strike notice Wednesday, and the airline responded with a lockout notice. Air Canada has said the two sides are not close to reaching a deal. One of the main issues is unpaid work, because flight attendants don't get paid unless the plane is in motion. That includes the work they do while boarding, deplaning, and if there is a medical emergency on the ground. More than 130,000 people fly with Air Canada every single day, and so the question is what to do if you're booked with the airline. Here's CTV's Adrian Gabriel.
Traversing the globe just got more turbulent for Air Canada passengers.
You're supposed to return home to Canada from Spain. Are you worried if there'll be an Air Canada plane for you?
Yes, definitely worried.
We're supposed to return out of Barcelona on the 29th, but...
You'll wait and see if there's a plane for you.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll look after us.
That consumer faith comes with a caveat.
While there are provisions and there are rules in there that protects passengers, it's still really unclear.
When a flight cancellation is within an airline's control, passengers are due additional compensation. However, the Canadian Transportation Agency's Air Passenger Protection Regulations state that situations outside an airline's control include a labor disruption within the carrier or within an essential service provided.
They're treated like a giant winter storm, which basically means it's outside of the control, so there's no compensation. However, the airline still needs to complete your journey. So they'll automatically need to be looking at their competitors.
The country's largest airline has promised to refund passengers and work with other airlines to rebook their travel. Though in a press release, Air Canada points to the fact that given other carriers are already very full due to the summer travel peak, securing such capacity will take time and in many cases will not be immediately possible. Understanding your travel coverage is going to be vital, according to the experts.
If you do make a change proactively to your flight, you do have, then at that point, you're sort of tied to the conditions of your ticket. So was it a non-refundable? Was it a flex?
When it comes to additional coverage, it's always a good idea to check with your credit card provider to see if you have any built-in travel insurance options. So no matter which way you slice it, Air Canada passengers could be in for a bumpy stretch of travel in the days ahead.
According to new research, fast walking could be one of the keys to living longer. The newly published study involved tens of thousands of participants. They filled out a questionnaire about their exercise habits, average time spent working out, walking speed, and health. Roughly 16 years later, they completed another questionnaire. The data showed participants who fast walked for at least 15 minutes every day saw a nearly 20% reduction in premature death. So how do you know if you're walking fast enough? According to the UK's National Health Service, you should be able to talk but not sing. Walking has many health benefits such as managing weight and sugar intake, reducing risk of cancer, and easing joint pain. Fast walking has been found to have specific benefits such as decreasing risk of heart failure, arrhythmias, and type 2 diabetes. A man in London has come up with an eco-conscious way to keep your feet warm.
This is the slipper I created out of dust.
21-year-old Rahat Ray has developed sustainable slippers made from household dust. He's literally pulling dust from vacuum cleaners and obviously removing things like toenails and dog fur before flattening the dust out and heating it to remove bacteria. The resulting fabric is durable, though also strengthened with stitching and some latex as well. He hopes this kind of application can also be used in the future for packaging and furniture. He's an A-list Hollywood celebrity who called Winnipeg home last year, and I guess our city made a big impression on Bob Odenkirk. The actor extolled the Peg's virtues on a recent podcast with late-night host Seth Meyers.
I liked it, and the same way I like Albuquerque, which is, it takes a little while to get to know it. You have your favorite places, and the people are awesome. We should do something. Strictly family time.
Come on, kids. It can be.
Odenkirk filmed 2 movies in Winnipeg last year, including this one, Nobody 2. The Better Call Saul lead man spoke at length about Winnipeg on the Family Trips with the Myers Brothers podcast. His favorite neighborhood, Wolseley. He also says the city could use a few more restaurants.
They all do this, Seth. You like it here, right? What do you think? What do you think? You know the thing, right?
Odenkirk adds Winnipeg is a great place to film movies, saying the varied architecture means filmmakers can use Winnipeg as a backdrop for modern cities and suburbs, and the Exchange District is a perfect substitute for New York City's Greenwich Village. Nobody 2 opens in theaters this weekend. Well, isn't that nice to hear? Taking a look now at what's happening along Portage Avenue. It looks like things are starting off really well over here. No issues to tell you about this early in the drive. If you see any problems out on the streets, please let us know. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the RBC Convention Center. That is where the Polish Pavilion is this week. Good morning, Ainsley.
Rochelle, real quick, how many pierogies do you think you could eat in 3 minutes? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Probably 5. You?
3. But the record, 19.
Oh,
19
wow.
in 3 minutes. And I guess Abi Khan couldn't make it in because he was the record holder. 10 yesterday in 3 minutes. But even still, my stomach hurts just thinking about it. We're going to look at the cultural display coming up at 6:37. There's over 50 regions in Poland, and the embroidery tells the story of those regions and maybe how much money a person would make too. We're looking at the craftiness, the beadwork, the hands, the eggs too, the pisanki, which is the eggs that many people, of course, know through Ukraine as well. But there's over 200 different styles of Polish eggs. We're going to be talking about toys, how they were handmade for children, and some of the markets that people still go to this day. Christmas ornaments, how some of the eggs are blown out to create that appeal. We're going to be tasting the food later, doing the dance moves. Again, 19 pierogies in 3 minutes. Could you imagine?
No, but it must have been good. All right, thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop. How many can you do, Terry?
Like 2.5, because I'm not disgusting. Honestly, I think speed eating is probably one of the grossest things that people partake in. And I'm somebody, listen, I'm down for a party. I like to have fun. I'm not a buzzkill at most things, but speed eating, gross. I like to enjoy my food, savor it.
too.
What's the point in having something as delicious as a pierogi if you're not going to enjoy the flavors of it? Just shoveling it down and then they pour that water in.
It's gross.
Exactly. All right, out here this morning, it's nothing gross about it. There's no smoke in the air, the sky clouded over most definitely, and looking a little more spectacular off to the west where the storms are going to be coming from. So brace yourself for that. I've got my rain gauge all emptied out and ready to collect. We'll see what today will bring, but pretty much across the province, showers and thunderstorms are expected. 17 degrees right now, south-southeast winds. They're gusting to 32 kilometers per hour right now, so you will notice that bit of a breeze as well as the heat that we're going to be feeling, because we're already above seasonal. 12 degrees would be a normal low, so we're above those morning temps. But as we continue on through the day, it'll get pretty hot today. High 20s expected across most of southern Manitoba. And while we are expecting to see some storms passing through here in the south, the heavier, more spectacular weather will be moving across northern Manitoba with rain pretty much all day long. Whereas here in the south, we have some passing precipitation this morning. We'll have a dry afternoon and then maybe again into the evening time. But for northern Manitoba, it's going to be a full day event, probably a 2-day event, in fact. Taking a break right now. We'll be back with more on CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live weather brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
Good morning. It is 6:15. A PC plan to improve Manitoba's healthcare system has fallen flat. 2 years ago, the former provincial government hired a company to recruit 150 new doctors for Manitoba. But as CTV's Nanton Unger shows you, so far, it's only brought in 2. And now the contract has been torn up.
Our government has contracted a recruitment firm to recruit 150 physicians.
It was touted by the former Progressive Conservative government as a step towards healing the healthcare system. But after 2 years, the company hired to recruit 150 doctors has recruited just 2. Back in July 2023, then Health Minister Audrey Gordon announced the province had awarded Canadian Health Labs a contract valued at up to $5.25 million. 150 doctors were to be recruited and split evenly between Winnipeg, northern Manitoba, and rural communities.
I'm very confident about reaching the 150 goal.
On Wednesday, the province confirmed just 2 doctors had been recruited through the contract, both from the UK and both working at clinics here in Winnipeg. The province says Canadian Health Labs is only being paid between $25,000 and $45,000 per doctor recruited. Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew says the contract has now expired and will not be renewed.
This contract under the former government, bad deal, didn't produce anywhere close to what it was supposed to. So yeah, we're getting rid of it, and we're showing I think a better approach to staffing up healthcare systems.
Kinew's government has promised to hire 400 new doctors. Since being elected, 201 net new physicians have started working.
Manitoba has a physician shortage. We know that.
Dr. Nichelle Desolé, president of Doctors Manitoba, says this is a good start, but more work is needed to deal with the province's shortages.
When it comes to family physicians who are delivering a large proportion of primary care in Manitoba, our numbers are even worse at 107 per 100,000, and that's dead last in Canada.
In a written statement, the Progressive Conservative Party says this is yet another example of the NDP inheriting a successful PC program and setting it up to fail. The contract with Canadian Health Lab was a viable recruitment tool they didn't try. It's time for the NDP to stop blaming the PCs for their healthcare failures and starting delivering on their election promises to Manitobans. CTV News has reached out to Canadian Health Labs for comment and is waiting to hear back. Two Manitoba Indigenous groups have agreed to work together on major infrastructure and development projects.
All right.
Yesterday at the Forks, the Southern Chiefs Organization and the Manitoba Métis Federation signed a 5-year agreement. The agreement comes as the federal government looks to fast-track what it calls nation-building projects across the country as Canada deals with ongoing trade threats from the U.S. The two groups agreed to ensure First Nations and Red River Métis voices are included in the approval of any Manitoba project proposed under the federal program known as Bill C-5.
Bill C-5 is a significant piece of legislation that creates opportunity for trade, clean energy, and infrastructure development. It must be implemented with the full respect for our rights, and that is what this MOU is also seeking to do.
The SCO and MMF say they'll work together to pursue Indigenous-led developments in areas including forestry, harvesting, and traditional economies. The Ontario government has unveiled a $1 billion plan meant to give business relief in the face of U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs.
These will be loans from anywhere between $250,000 to $40 million. So think about it as providing a bridging, a liquidity to kind of stay in business, help keep workers on the job.
The government is offering up to, that $1 billion in the form of emergency loans. The loans are intended for companies subject to Section 233 tariffs, like those in the steel, aluminum, and auto sectors. The Ontario Liberals say broader support is needed to strengthen the economy for the long term. Obstructive sleep apnea, or OSA for short, is a condition where breathing repeatedly stops and starts during sleep due to blocked airways. New research suggests rising temperatures can make it worse. Climate change may be making episodes of obstructive sleep apnea more common and harder to treat, according to a new Nature Communications study. Hotter weather significantly increases the risk of the sleep issue by as much as 45%, and even more for men or people who are overweight. Experts say common signs of sleep apnea are loud snoring, daytime tiredness, falling asleep during conversations, or a quiet activity. The majority of people with OSA don't know they have it and are untreated. More guests are being added to this year's Comic-Con lineup, and fans of the historical epic series Vikings won't want to miss out.
Come back to Frankia with me. You will have everything you need, everything you ever wanted.
Clive Standen, who plays the warrior Rollo, will be attending this year's pop culture celebration, along with Lucy Martin, who portrayed Ingrid in the later seasons. And for the Trekkies, they'll be joined by Gates McFadden, best known as Dr. Beverly Crusher from Star Trek The Next Generation and later Star Trek movies. All three will be meeting fans, taking photos, and signing autographs, and will take the stage for a live 45-minute conversation. Comic-Con runs October 24th to the 26th at the RBC Convention Center. Here's a look at what's happening in traffic along the Norwood Bridge. It looks like things are moving well over here. No issues to tell you about. If you see problems out there, though, please let us know.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
All right, and we are still waiting for the sun to rise. Or no, sorry, it has started to rise, but less than 5 minutes ago. We're still waiting to see it over some of the buildings in the downtown area for sure. Looking through the Bathfitter Live Eye, Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. A little bit of that day glow out there this morning, but we've got some pretty heavy and dark clouds. That was an east view. It's a little bit brighter off to the east. Looking off to the west, and I'll show you the satellite image. You'll see why in a second. That's where the darkest looking sky is this morning. Where our temperatures are sitting? Well above seasonal, 12 degrees. That would be a normal low temperature. Everybody this morning is in the mid to high teens all across southern Manitoba. And for northern Manitoba, those warm temperatures run right up along the western border. Slightly cooler, though, over here in the northeast. Single digits for you to kick off the morning. And yes, Yes, well, the precipitation doesn't read on the satellite image. Here's the warnings map, and you can see we've got a thunderstorm warning in, well, it's actually in Saskatchewan, but we'll be tracking through into parts of Manitoba. And then we've got some thunderstorm watches in effect here through the southern part of the province. There you can see why it is looking very active on the southern half of the province. Northern Manitoba, I promise you, is probably even more active, but that precipitation just doesn't read on our satellite image. As we take a look at the temperatures through the day today, it is going to be a hot one. Here we're stopping it at noontime, and we're already into those mid-20s. A little bit cooler across northern Manitoba, more solid of a soaking across the north, whereas here in the south we'll get some passing storms this morning, and then dry through the midday with another chance of showers or thunderstorms into the evening time. After today, those temperatures will be settling closer to seasonal as we roll through the weekend. The happy little sunflower out here. You can see the smiley face in there as well. Thanks to Melissa for the photo, and keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg weather at ctv.ca. We're taking a break. We'll see you soon.
Good morning. Based on social media, many of us love having our pictures taken. But what would you say if a perfect stranger walked up and asked if you could take a few pics of you? As CTV's Adam Sawatsky shows you, a Vancouver man with a passion for photography is on a mission to find out.
Although Justin Venema wanted to photograph people since he was a child,
I remember looking through the viewfinder and thinking, like, the world just looks really cool.
The social anxiety he developed during the pandemic made interacting with people feel impossible.
And I could feel my hands start to shake and my knees start to tremble.
It was so debilitating, Justin decided he had to face his fear and was determined to approach a random stranger and offer to take their picture.
I wish I could say it was like suddenly found the courage and went out. No, I went out and I forced myself.
8 months after coming up with the idea, Justin vowed he wouldn't return home until he talked to at least one person.
I was feeling like I was going to pass out or throw up or maybe a combination of both.
And then Justin found the courage to do this.
Excuse me. Sorry, so sorry to bother you.
The first person he approached was Jaden, who accepted his invitation.
And they were so kind. All of my fears were immediately alleviated, and I was like, that wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be for the last 8 months, so let's do it again.
So Justin committed to take a stranger's picture every day for the next 365 days straight.
That was the decision I made, and it completely changed my life.
It was far from easy, but after achieving his goal, Justin hasn't stopped, and now also photographs random pets, sharing his images on social media.
It's been such a heartwarming experience all around to go from someone who felt so anxious and alone to someone who feels connected.
But although the process began as a way to help him, Justin's kept doing it as a way to empower others.
When I'm literally looking at the most photogenic person in the world, they're like, oh, I don't look good in photos.
So Justin aims for each stranger he meets, like Seth Marks, to feel seen.
Oh, so good, so good.
For their stories to be heard.
Little rock star, that's good.
And for them to leave feeling included.
Kind of was like a highlight to my day. Like, I wasn't like expecting anything like that.
Everybody at their core wants to connect. They just don't know how. Force yourself to talk to people. And I really do feel like if you do that, it will change your life.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Vancouver.
We are visiting the Polish Pavilion this morning. We're going to find out a little bit more about the culture, the history, as well as some of the cool things you get to see when you visit yourself. Stay with us.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
All right, that sky this morning, wow. And in other areas, it's looking even more green. We're going to be in for some storms. They'll be rolling over us soon. Right now, it's 17 degrees with winds into the south-southeast, gusting to 32 clicks. The pressure falling and the humidity is sitting at 80%. Yes, showers, thunderstorms, that'll be pretty much across the province today. It won't be all day long here across southern Manitoba, but it will likely be a full-day event, maybe even a two-day event across the north. We did have some thunderstorms watches that had been issued. They've just been lifted in the last few minutes. We do still have that warning up in northeastern Saskatchewan, and the bulk of the activity, like I said, will actually be across northern Manitoba, where unfortunately the precipitation doesn't read on the satellite image, but you can see what's happening here across the south, and we're just about to get hit with these storms passing through. So showers and thunderstorms today, hot temperatures too, not for northern Manitoba. You're in for a cooler day, in fact, but here in the south, spiking only for a day. We've had some below seasonal temperatures through most of the last week, and for the rest of the weekend we're looking to be on the cooler side as well, at least compared to what is normal, 25 degrees. We will get these winds increasing though, gusting at times to 50 clicks today. Light winds overnight, just a few clouds as we drop to 13. Tomorrow 23 degrees, moderate breeze out of the west. I mentioned those cooler temperatures lasting. We'll get back up to seasonal with 25 being that normal daytime high.
Thanks, Terry. A Northern Manitoba First Nation is demanding Manitoba Hydro restore lake levels in their community. Members of York Factory First Nation arrived in Winnipeg yesterday and protested at the Manitoba legislature. The First Nation says 2 hydroelectric dams built and operated by Manitoba Hydro have caused water levels in Split Lake to fall drastically. Water levels are so low the ferry that connects the community has had to stop operating, cutting off access to essential goods and medicine. The First Nation adds winter roads are also now less reliable, and one protester says it's more difficult to hunt and fish.
We have a portage that the fish spawn. There's no water there no more for the fish to spawn. So how are we supposed to get our fish? Hunting is going to be coming around the corner here right away. Fall. No water to go hunt. There's no water for our boats to go anywhere.
York Factory wants the province to order Manitoba Hydro to release more water into the lake. However, Hydro says due to drought conditions, releasing more water into the lake would jeopardize its ability to supply Manitobans with electricity over the winter and into next year. Hydro says it's provided 4 boats to move people and supplies to and from the community, and it's paying compensation under the terms of pre-existing agreements. Thousands of dollars worth of fur pelts have been stolen from Winnipeg's Fort Gibraltar. Festival du Voyageurs executive director tells CTV News sometime overnight Monday, someone broke a window to get inside a building within the fort. She says approximately 140 pelts were stolen, representing between 50 and 70% of its collection. It included pelts from wolverines, bears, coyotes, and fox, some weighing more than 100 pounds. The pelts are marked with the acronym FDV or are stamped with the organization's toque and boots logo. A warning for parents now about the dangers of violent online groups targeting children in Canada. CTV's Terry Fikowski spoke to an Alberta mother who says her teenage daughter was manipulated and exploited. This story contains details that may be disturbing.
This quiet rural community is the last place you'd expect a child to be targeted by a violent international extremist network, but that's the living nightmare unfolding for the mother of a 14-year-old girl in small-town central Alberta. CTV is not identifying her or the family's location for their safety.
She locks herself in her room. She doesn't want to associate with anyone in the home.
Her daughter struggled with her mental health for years, but things escalated to a frightening tipping point roughly a year ago.
She had written on her wall in blood. She had cut herself here and carved on her legs.
She also discovered disturbing sexually exploitive pictures and conversations on her phone with a member of 764, an ideologically motivated child exploitation enterprise formed in 2021, named after the founder's zip code in Texas. The founder of the group, who was just 15 at the time, is now serving an 80-year prison sentence, and the FBI has charged other alleged leaders. A few teens have been charged here in Canada, but the RCMP says 764 operates under a number of different aliases, making it hard to pin down and remains a serious threat.
It is a combination of neo-Nazism, Satanism, and self-harm. They also call it accelerationism, which means basically trying to get to the point where it's anarchy.
Members use encrypted platforms like the instant messaging service Discord. They also use popular online games Roblox and Minecraft to recruit youth.
The most disturbing stuff that you can imagine. Not only are they getting kids to self-harm, but they're also convincing their kids to, kill and mutilate animals, family pets, abuse siblings.
She's told me she'll stab me in my sleep.
Desperate to protect her family, this mother took away her daughter's phone and devices, only to learn she was still accessing the platforms at school, and says seeking support from the school board, healthcare system, and police has been an exhausting uphill battle.
She doesn't think I care, but I'm doing this all because I love her.
Nobody has been charged, but she's not giving up. Terry Fikowski, CTV News in Central Alberta.
9-year-old Emma Trowell is making a difference in her city.
I write a cute message like, have a great day, and did you know you're amazing? Then I'll put it back in the bottle, maybe add some glitter to it, and then I could hide it around the city.
The young girl is stashing positive messages around the city. She took her cue from rocks that were placed around during the pandemic and has turned this into a little summer project. Her work is definitely being noticed, with people finding the messages and posting them on social media, remarking on how they've made their day. Here's a look at what's happening in traffic along Kennison Boulevard. Things are slowly picking up over here. It's pretty dark out there as a storm is on the way. And let's take a look now at what's going on with your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.36, while the provincial average is lower at $1.32. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.33. The lowest price in the city is $1.27. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
Price at the pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the RBC Convention Center, telling us all about the Polish Pavilion. You're going to give us a tour of the cultural display. Good morning.
Dzień dobry, which is good morning in Polish. I've learned just that word so far. Martin Michalak joins us now to tell us all about the cultural display. And I know it's not Christmas yet, but we're learning a little bit about Polish tradition.
Definitely, yeah. So this year, our cultural display displays Polish arts and crafts. Everything handmade here by our volunteers. And we'll start off with the Christmas tree. The Christmas tree actually displays Polish symbols and animals that are displayed and reoccurring throughout Polish culture and other unique items and crafted items. So in Poland, the fun fact is that there is a huge stork population. Wherever you drive, you will see a huge stork nest. And a fun fact about the Christmas tree is that traditionally it is set up a day or two before Christmas. So not like we have it here a month before. On Christmas Eve, traditionally it's been set up, and it's left for a month after Christmas, because Christmas Day is when the festivities begin.
I don't want to be in a Polish mom's way. Those first 3 days before Christmas, I'm going to get out of her way while she's in the kitchen and while she's putting up that tree. What's next, Martin?
So here we have a machine that weaves Polish art and dresses, and actually a unique and a wholesome info that I received from other ambassadors is that this is actually shared among other cultures. So there's more similarities than differences that I've been hearing. But the person who weaves this art told me that had she known back in the day that it took this long to weave a dress, she would have rather had walked naked.
Oh my gosh, we're almost out of time. Why should people come to the pavilion?
Definitely. Well, you will definitely be immersed in Polish flavors, music, and spirit, and we are happy to host everyone and share our culture with you.
Okay. Good morning. Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry.
Perfect. See you soon.
Dzień dobry to you as well. Thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. It's looking pretty dark out there, Terry.
Yeah, it sure is. I just came outside. This will be my last hit outside for a little while. I did make sure that the storm was far enough off in the distance, but now that I'm up here on the roof, these clouds, first of all, if we can get a west shot of those clouds, they look incredible, but also I just saw a flash of lightning, so I'm not going to stay here long. I'm safe, don't get me wrong, the lightning is well off in the distance, but it is looming and making its way toward us. 17 degrees, those winds out of the south-southeast are gusting to 32 clicks, the pressure falling, humidity sitting at 80%, and yes, sky pretty dark right now, and like I said, those clouds to the west are looking ominous. So showers and thunderstorms will be rolling over us within the next hour or so. That'll be for southern Manitoba, and then we're probably in for pretty dry conditions through most of the day as these temperatures spike a little bit. We've had cooler below seasonal temperatures through most of this week, but that will change today and only for today. We're going to see them drop off on the other side of this. Now, for northern Manitoba, it won't be anywhere near as hot. It's going to be about 10 times as soggy, though. While we're going to see these storms just kind of rolling over us, for northern Manitoba, it's going to be a full day event. Yeah, there's a look. Let's turn that a little bit. Shift. Can we go a little bit behind where the currents are? Yeah. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Yeah, you can just see those big shelf clouds rolling in. Okay, this is going to be a doozy of a storm that rolls on over us. Hot temperatures, like I said, expected today. It's going to be breezy as well. And then for northern Manitoba, you've got about a one day at least, maybe 2 days of the rain continuing. Whereas here in the south, we're going to be back to that sunshine for tomorrow. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live weather brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
Looking at the early markets, futures are showing a mixed start. Dow futures are relatively flat, down just 8 points. NASDAQ futures are lower, down 17. S&P futures are also slightly weaker, down 4. The Canadian dollar seeing a modest increase this morning. Overseas, the Hang Seng is down 94 points, while Japan's Nikkei has fallen 625 points. Good morning, it is 6:45. The Premier, along with leaders from Manitoba's agriculture industry, is calling on Ottawa to step in and support canola farmers as heavy tariffs from China take effect today, following their announcement on Tuesday.
The Chinese government has clearly launched the tariffs at this time of year to cause maximum impact and maximum uncertainty.
Canews says the Prime Minister should reveal how he's planning to get the duties removed. But in the meantime, the Premier would like to see the feds offer the same sort of support as was given to the steel and auto industries. And he knows where the money could come from: tariff revenue.
You just do the back of the envelope calculations. You're talking the last 2 days, just the swing in the price of canola, the impact there, well over $1 billion probably. The federal government's not going to be able to make that up entirely off the tariff revenue, but can they get some of those resources out the door to help just provide some reassurance and help provide some certainty to producers?
China announced the anti-dumping duties of nearly 76% after a year-long trade dispute that began with Canadian tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles last year. Turtles may not seem like a typical household pet, but for one Manitoban, they're family. And now he's offering a hefty reward after he says his beloved turtles were stolen last month. CTV's Daniel Homerson has the story.
I remember him saying something to the effect that, who would steal turtles?
Benjamin Wiesenthal has been trying to answer that question for the past 3.5 weeks after someone stole his pet turtles from inside his home south of Gilmore.
One turtle I acquired in 1992 was brought in from Vancouver, and the second turtle I acquired in 2000 from Petland.
The missing reptiles are 2 different species of box turtles, similar to the ones seen here. Both are female and about 5.5 inches in length.
There's not much in the way of interaction between them and me, but I've always liked, reptiles.
Wiesenthal says the turtles were taken on July 19th after he went out biking for a few hours.
Following morning, around 11:30, I went to go feed the animals, and I noticed they were missing.
He says there was no sign of a break-in and that whoever took them likely knew what they were looking for.
The place didn't look ransacked, like somebody was trying to look for money or jewelry or whatever.
Wiesenthal says an acquaintance had been at the house the morning the turtles disappeared, but he says she claims she wasn't involved.
She denied it, and I took her for her word.
Now he's turned to social media and is pleading for his pet's safe return.
I'm offering, a $6,000 reward for the return, no questions asked.
Wiesenthal says he's concerned about the turtles' health and well-being, noting they require special care, including a controlled climate and a specific diet.
I've had them for years, and they're important to me. I guess you could say that with anyone who has had a pet for years.
An RCMP spokesperson tells CTV News Mounties received a report of the theft and say the investigation is ongoing. Daniel Homerson, CTV News, Gimli.
According to new research, fast walking could be one of the keys to living longer. The newly published study involved tens of thousands of participants. They filled out a questionnaire about their exercise habits, average time spent working out, walking speed, and health. Roughly 16 years later, they completed another questionnaire. The data showed participants who fast walked for at least 15 minutes every day saw a nearly 20% reduction in premature death. So how do you know if you're walking fast enough? According to the UK's National Health Service, you should be able to talk but not sing. Walking has many health benefits, such as managing weight and sugar intake, reducing risk of cancer, and easing joint pain. Fast walking has been found to have specific benefits, such as decreasing risk of heart failure, arrhythmias, and type 2 diabetes. Families in a Charleswood area neighborhood will soon have a new place to play.
2, 3, there we go.
The city received a little help yesterday as it broke ground on a playground in Ridgewood West. Once built, it will feature an accessible play structure with ramped access, independent play equipment, and swings. It's something Area Councillor Evan Duncan says the community has been lobbying for.
We appreciate having great green spaces, but at the end of the day, communities call for different types of recreation amenities.
The project is also set to include benches, a picnic table, and trees overlooking the adjacent pond. The playground is expected to cost around $230,000 and is being funded through the city's Land Dedication Reserve Fund. Construction is set to start next week and be completed late next month. Here's a look now what's happening on McPhillip Street. It looks like things are moving well over here. It's dark out there though and very cloudy.
All right. Ooh, yeah, that storm, that's what all the darkness is from right now, because that sun is up, but we won't be seeing any of it for the next little while. Lightning you can see off in the distance as well. Yeah, I'll be staying nice and safe inside for the next little while until this passes. 17 degrees with winds out of the south-southeast, gusting to 32 clicks. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 80%. And as spectacular as it's going to be through southern Manitoba, northern Manitoba will probably bear the brunt of this storm. Maybe a couple-day event of rain, which, I mean, wouldn't be a bad thing considering the situation going on up north. You can see our thunderstorm warning. It was just in northeastern Saskatchewan. Now it's in parts of northwestern Manitoba. And the satellite image will only show you what's happening here in the south, but you can bet it's going to be far worse across northern Manitoba. And far worse, you can see already how spectacular it is. So that's the dark clouds that we're seeing off to the west and all of the little lightning bolts that are firing off in there as well. So right over Winnipeg, it's just beginning to move into that west side of the city, but it'll be rolling right on over and into northwestern Ontario as well. I mean, this is going to be a passing one for us here in the south. But as I mentioned, for northern Manitoba, you could be in for a day or more of rain. It could be a 2-day event with the rain continuing. You can see you're in for some slightly cooler temperatures. Churchill only up to 6 degrees today, Gillam 13. Other places will be getting closer to what is normal into those high teens for today. But the heavier clouds, the rain, that's going to be lasting all day long. And like I said, it could even last overnight and into tomorrow as well. Whereas here in the south, we've got these passing storms moving through and then some hot temperatures. Expect to feel those temperatures spiking through the day into the high 20s, for some even the low 30s. But then another round of precipitation could roll through into the evening, and we'll get another round of storms later on into the day. So hot today, and then things settle down. We've got some slightly cooler temperatures to finish off the week and kick off the weekend, and then it's back to the seasonal 25, and maybe watch those temperatures rise throughout parts of next week.
Thanks, Terry. 12 years ago, lightning struck and changed Paul Matheson's life forever. He developed health issues and went into a deep funk, but he eventually found recovery in an unusual way. Here's CTV's Maria Saru.
Step for step, Paul Matheson is never alone out here. Some follow him on 4 legs, some on 2. This farm wasn't always a part of his plan, but a 1 in a million moment rewrote the rest of his life.
At the end of the day, everything happens for a reason, and I guess this was the reason.
On a day as sunny as this one in August 2013, Matheson says a storm suddenly started. He ran outside to roll up his truck windows when he was struck by lightning.
There was a big bang and white flash all at once, and the lightning hit the telephone pole, come down the guide wire, and basically threw me into the truck.
In the aftermath, Matheson was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder and had to give up his work as a paramedic. For nearly 3 decades, he served communities in Canada and around the world, from Algeria to Paris.
Now Matheson's work is here at the Brudenell Miniatures Barnyard Zoo. It all started with a pint-sized horse he bought his granddaughter. Then, over the years, he filled a farm.
These days, it's how he gives back.
It's our favorite place to come to every single time we come visit PEI. It brings the kids a lot of joy.
I like seeing the animals.
They're so cute, and I just like to have a chance to feed them.
He bites my hand.
Matheson says it's these smiles that make the experience all mean something.
What's your favorite animal?
The PTSD is hard for him to talk about, but he wants to help raise awareness. He says while lightning can strike without warning, so can happiness. Maria Saru, CTV News, Brudenell, Prince Edward Island.
After spending decades at sea, a man from Vancouver Island was forced back to land to battle a disease. While navigating unwanted and unexpected changes, he found a new creative outlet. And as CTV's Adam Sawatsky shows you, it's all thanks to some old golf clubs.
Gary Wagner never imagined he'd end up turning a propane tank into a pig when he quit school at 14 to become a commercial fisherman.
As long as I'm on the water, I'm happy.
Gary worked on the East Coast for a while before he fell in love with Pam.
He was fun to be around. We had good times together.
But then Gary went looking for work out west.
Kissed each other and off I went.
It didn't take long for Gary to get hired on a halibut boat, or for Pam to show up one day.
I didn't even know she was coming.
What did you think of that?
Oh, I loved it.
So they got married, started a family, and Gary supported them at sea for almost 50 years. Until a cancer diagnosis,
not good,
forced Gary to get facial surgery.
It was sort of a shock.
And retire earlier than he had hoped.
I got tired of sitting around, maybe feeling sorry for myself.
So Gary decided to turn his bad situation into something good and volunteered his time to help others in whatever way he could.
Oh, well, they said dead can't fix it. It can't be fixed.
But when Pam wondered if something could be done about a bunch of old golf clubs destined for the dump, no one imagined Gary would do this.
I've never, ever done anything like that in my life.
It was so satisfying to be so crafty, Gary started turning all sorts of unwanted things into all sorts of wonderful creatures.
Tinker with this and that and other things.
After he began turning discarded golf balls into ladybug eyeballs, leftover aluminum siding into bumblebee wings, and outdated propane tanks into pink pigs you could put plants in, Gary was surprised that strangers started asking to buy them.
I built it and somebody likes it besides me.
But Gary being Gary, he decided to sell his creations at cost and make no money.
I just do it for the joy of doing it.
And while he once worked tirelessly to fish food, Gary's now working creatively to spread joy.
And it brings enjoyment to other people. And that's what life's all about, is sharing happiness.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, North Saanich.
Well, you brought us some joy this morning, indeed. Well, here's a look at what's happening outside on the Pravache Bridge. Yeah, it's getting wet out there. It is starting to rain. We'll be back after this with your 7 o'clock headlines. Good morning. Happy Thursday. It is August 14th. You're watching CTV Morning Live. Thank you so much for being with us. Coming up at 7:52 in our Community Connection, we're going to tell you about a man who is an award-winning golfer. He's got lots of championships under his belt. He's won several titles, and he's playing the game blind. We're going to tell you how he's doing that, and it's a really great lesson for those who feel like they might have unsurmountable challenges. We're going to tell you about his story and a little bit more information on how you can support the cause. But first, your headlines. A raw deal, how a plan to bring more doctors to Manitoba has fallen flat. Plus, chipping away why newly painted murals on a Winnipeg street are already in need of work. And a rave review, what one Hollywood actor had to say about living in Winnipeg. All right, bringing in Terry now. It is the storm has arrived. It is pretty wild out there.
It is. I know we've been now hearing the thunder rolling right through the downtown area. We've been keeping our eye on the lightning as well. So there's a look. Oh yeah, we've got some rain coming down for sure. I'll be probably stuck inside for the next little while until this storm passes. But gosh, thank goodness for camera views to give us a look outside. 16 degrees. Ooh, there's a few more flashes of that lightning. How long for the thunder? I guess we're looking at it on TV, so I don't even know where that was. Anyway, northwest winds, they're gusting to 39 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 86%. I can look at the satellite image and I suppose see how close that storm is. I got the technology to do that. So let's take first a look at these numbers this morning. Mid-teens, normal lows would be around 12 degrees, so all of us well above that. Ooh, I just saw another big flash out our window here in the downtown area. Northern Manitoba, slightly cooler temperatures and slightly heavier rain expected through throughout the day, maybe even overnight and for tomorrow across northern Manitoba. That's where our warnings are so far this morning regarding the storms. So that's a severe thunderstorm warning that you've got up in the far northwest. Here in the south, no watches or warnings, but there you can see that storm rolling right over Winnipeg and much of southern Manitoba. This is just going to kind of roll on through, though, and then we're going to get back to some sunshine here in the south, whereas for northern Manitoba, you'll see these cooler temperatures and expect that rain to be falling pretty much all day long. By noontime, 25 degrees. That's normal for this time of year, but we're going to see those temperatures soar beyond that, up into the high 20s here across the south. And then after all that heat today, we could get another round of the precipitation, some possible storms moving in again later on this evening. Then back to the sunshine and slightly cooler temperatures. That's how we'll finish the week and kick off the weekend before the temperatures rise again. So how perfect for today that we've got this storm picture. It was a collaboration by Jace, Austin, and Logan. Thank you for this and keep them coming, please. We'd love to see your art. Take pictures of it and email us to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks, Terry. Manitoba Premier Wam Kanu says a preliminary search of Brady Road landfill for the remains of 2 missing women is underway. Ashley Shingoose was one of 4 women murdered by a serial killer in Winnipeg in 2022. Tanya Nepanak went missing in 2011, and investigators have long believed her remains were also put into a dumpster and sent to the landfill.
The focus that we're working on right now is Ashley Shingoose, because we have the information about the cell that we believe where she's located, but we are making plans to search for Tanya Nepanak as well.
The Premier says crews began what he called a test phase earlier this week. It involves a preliminary excavation to find out what kind of material workers will be digging through and what sort of safety protocols will need to be in place. Ground penetrating radar and other test sampling is also underway. Canoe added they'll be trying out some new methods to narrow down the search without going into details. He said the search itself will get underway later this year, and more details will be coming soon. A PC plan to improve Manitoba's healthcare system has fallen flat. 2 years ago, the former provincial government hired a company to recruit 150 new doctors for Manitoba. But as CTV's Danton Unger shows you, so far it's only brought in 2, and now the contract has been torn up.
Our government has contracted a recruitment firm to recruit 150 physicians.
It was touted by the former Progressive Conservative government as a step towards healing the healthcare system. But after 2 years, the company hired to recruit 150 doctors has recruited just 2. Back in July 2023, then Health Minister Audrey Gordon announced the province had awarded Canadian Health Labs a contract valued at up to $5.25 million. 150 doctors were to be recruited and split evenly between Winnipeg, northern Manitoba, and rural communities.
I'm very confident about reaching the 150 goal.
On Wednesday, the province confirmed just 2 doctors had been recruited through the contract, both from the UK and both working at clinics here in Winnipeg. The province says Canadian Health Labs is only being paid between $25,000 and $45,000 per doctor recruited. Manitoba Premier Wab Kanu says the contract has now expired and will not be renewed.
This contract under the former government, bad deal, didn't produce anywhere close to what it was supposed to. So yeah, we're getting rid of it, and we're showing I think a better approach to staffing up healthcare systems.
Canu's government has promised to hire 400 new doctors. Since being elected, 201 net new physicians have started working.
Manitoba has a physician shortage, we know that.
Dr. Nichelle Desailly, president of Doctors Manitoba, says this is a good start, but more work is needed to deal with the province's shortages.
When it comes to family physicians who are delivering a large proportion of primary care in Manitoba, our numbers are even worse at 107 per 100,000, and that's dead last in Canada.
In a written statement, the Progressive Conservative Party says this is yet another example of the NDP inheriting a successful PC program and setting it up to fail. The contract with Canadian Health Lab was a viable recruitment tool they didn't try. It's time for the NDP to stop blaming the PCs for their healthcare failures and starting delivering on their election promises to Manitobans. CTV News has reached out to Canadian Health Labs for comment and is waiting to hear back. A colorful part of the new Graham Avenue pedestrian zone is already in need of a touch-up.
Yeah, I mean, it's paint. It's not the end of the world. We'll figure out a way to repaint it, and off we go.
Public Works Chair Janice Lukes responded yesterday to news the paint is peeling on the street murals along former bus corridor just a month after it was unveiled. The city says it's the result of decades of embedded oil and heavy use by large vehicles. While it was cleaned thoroughly, the city decided not to chemically treat the street to speed up the timeline and decrease the costs and chemical runoff.
We're trying to be bold. We're trying to do things differently. We're trying to move forward faster on a lot of projects. And summer in Winnipeg is short, so we wanted to get it out, experiment and see, and go from there.
The city and Luke say data from the pilot project will be used when considering the permanent redesign of the street. The project was funded through a grant from Bloomberg Philanthropies Asphalt Art Initiative. Funding for touch-ups will be available in the spring, but there's no money earmarked beyond that. People flying with Air Canada could be in for a bumpy stretch of travel as the airline begins to cancel flights ahead of a possible strike by flight attendants.
Yes, definitely worried.
We're supposed to return out of Barcelona on the 29th, but...
You'll wait and see if there's a plane for you.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll look after us.
So how will it all work out if your return flight isn't available? Well, when a flight cancellation is within an airline's control, passengers are guaranteed additional compensation above and beyond the cost of their ticket. But a labor dispute is considered outside of the airline's control, so the airline will still need to complete the traveler's itinerary by rebooking with a competitor. If there are no options available, the passenger will get a refund, but will still be stuck where they are. In a press release, Air Canada says given other carriers are already very full due to the summer travel peak, securing such capacity will take time and in many cases will not be immediately possible. He's an A-list Hollywood celebrity who called Winnipeg home last year, and I guess our city made a big impression on Bob Odenkirk. The actor extolled the Peg's virtues on a recent podcast with late-night host Seth Meyers.
I liked it. I liked it in the same way I like Albuquerque, which is it takes a little while to get to know it. You have your favorite places, and the people are awesome. We should do something.
Odenkirk filmed 2 movies in Winnipeg last year, including this one, Nobody 2. The Better Call Saul lead man spoke at length about Winnipeg on the Family Trips with the Myers Brothers podcast. His favorite neighborhood? Wolseley. He also says the city could use a few more restaurants.
They all do this, Seth. You like it here, right? What do you think? What do you think? You know the thing, right?
Odenkirk adds Winnipeg is a great place to film movies, saying the varied architecture means filmmakers can use Winnipeg as a backdrop for modern cities and suburbs, and the Exchange District is a perfect substitute for New York City's Greenwich Village. Nobody 2 opens in theaters this weekend. Here's a look at what's happening outside now along St. Mary's Road. Yeah, the storm is here. It might be affecting traffic a little bit in this area. As you can see, things appear to be picking up and sort of stacking up in this region. If you see any problems out there, please let us know. Let's go now to the RBC Convention Center where Ainsley McPhail is visiting the Polish Pavilion this morning. Good morning, Ainsley.
The Polish Pavilion, the Polka Pavilion as well,
Ooh,
Rochelle. I'm going to be learning some dance moves coming up in this hour. I always remember my mom going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I feel like I have a little bit of it, but the adult group has 40 dancers, and to fathom 40 dancers being on this stage, moving around with the lifts and the jumps that they do, it's pretty darn spectacular. The youth group has 50 different dancers, aging from 4 to 17, so it really is a progression of the learning, and tons of this community rallying together. This is a fun fact. A 12-year-old who participated in the pierogi eating contest yesterday had 5.5 pierogies, got on stage, and then did the dance. I think they gave him a bucket in the back.
Yeah, I think
the record,
so.
19 pierogies in 3 minutes.
Oh my gosh, that's wild.
My stomach hurts.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, well, thank you, Ainsley.
And they'll never eat another pierogi again. Way to ruin a food. This is my point about it. Like, oh, you don't want to ruin something as good as pierogies. That's like a delicacy.
So tasty.
Oh my goodness.
What a storm outside right now. I love watching thunderstorms. I can't watch it because I'm here, but you can certainly hear it.
Yeah, you sure can. And every now and then out our windows, you'll see that flash of lightning too. Right now in the city, it's 15 degrees, so that temperature has dropped a couple. No surprise with that storm. Look at these clouds. Wow. Yeah, what a stunning look out there. East-southeast winds, ooh, some more lightning flashing. The winds are gusty, up to 30 clicks right now. The pressure is falling, the humidity at 95%. Ooh, there's just the darkness that we're seeing out there. Yeah, and again, more flashes of lightning. All of this looking pretty incredible. This will be a pretty fast-lived system here across the south, though, whereas northern Manitoba, you'll be dealing with far more activity throughout the day. That's where the warnings are in place. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning up in parts of the northwest right now and parts of northeastern Saskatchewan. We did have some thunderstorm warnings earlier on this morning, but they've been lifted. There's a look at the storm passing through, what it looks like on the satellite image. We just showed you what it looked like outside. Here's just a slightly different angle of it all. Rolling over central southern Manitoba. It will be hitting parts of northern Manitoba. It just doesn't read on the satellite map, but here we'll be able to see this rainfall accumulation. Once you're getting into the blue, that's 15 to 30 millimeters of rain. The green is kind of 15 millimeters or less, which is probably all we're going to see here in the south. But for northern Manitoba, you're really going to start to see 30 to 60 millimeters of rain getting into the purple, and this will take you for, like I said, a couple of days. Here in the south, we're going to get that passing precipitation this morning, maybe another round into the evening time, and then back to the sunshine and even temperatures dropping off for the weekend.
CTV Morning Live weather brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
Let's check in now on our question of the day. Stormy skies are calling. What's your go-to comfort food on a day like today? Our question of the day has moved from Twitter, so now we want you to text your answer along with your name to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response. It's time for our pet of the week, and today we're doubling the cuteness. Meet Tucker, a 3-year-old who's taking his role as big brother very seriously. And by seriously, we mean teaching his 4-month-old little bro, Ben, the fine art of stick collecting. Their human, Kim, says Tucker is the best big brother ever, and Ben is soaking up every lesson. This adorable duo has totally earned the title of Pet of the Week, and we couldn't be happier for them. Congrats, you two. We love your Pet of the Week submissions. We want more. Share a photo and a fun story of your pet, dog, cat, bird, or anybody at petoftheweek@ctv.ca, and then watch Thursdays from 6 to 9 to see if your pet stars on CTV Morning Live. Here's a look at what's happening in the storm right now on Notre Dame Avenue. We'll be back after this break. Good morning, it is 7:16. On the wildfire front, good news for people from several northern communities. The province says evacuation orders have been lifted for Cormorant, Garden Hill First Nation, Island Lake, and Little Grand Rapids. And in an online statement, Chief David Monius of Pimicikamak Cree Nation says people began returning home Wednesday night. On social media, the town of Snow Lake says fire officials are conducting thermal scans of the surrounding area in the coming days. That data will help decide when the evacuation order there can be lifted, but essential businesses are already returning to ensure the community is ready to receive residents. The province's latest fire bulletin says there are now 161 active wildfires, up from 159 a week ago. 2 Manitoba Indigenous groups have agreed to work together on major infrastructure and development projects. Yesterday at the Forks, the Southern Chiefs Organization and the Manitoba Métis Federation signed a 5-year agreement. The agreement comes as the federal government looks to fast-track what it calls nation-building projects across the country as Canada deals with ongoing trade threats from the U.S. The two groups agreed to ensure First Nations and Red River Métis voices are included in the approval of any Manitoba project proposed under the federal program known as Bill C-5.
Bill C-5 is a significant piece of legislation that creates opportunity for trade, clean energy, and infrastructure development. It must be implemented with the full respect for our rights, and that is what this MOU is also seeking to do.
The SCO and MMF say they'll work together to pursue Indigenous-led developments in areas including forestry, harvesting, and traditional economies. Team Manitoba has added to its medal count at the Canada Games. Tegan Purvis came out on top in the 100-meter backstroke Special Olympics women's race, the team's first gold in these games. Maxine Levitt swam to silver in the 100-meter backstroke para-women's race. Ben Purvis won bronze in the 100-meter backstroke Special Olympic men's race. And earlier yesterday, Alexander Saramak earned a bronze in the canoe kayak C1 200-meter men's event. That brings Team Manitoba's medal tally to 7. Congratulations to all. Here's a look now what's going on the St. James Bridge. Yeah, people driving into work today will have to battle some puddles and some rainfall. Make sure your wipers are working properly this morning. You will be battling that rain. Time now for some entertainment news. More guests are being added to this year's Comic-Con lineup, and fans of the historical epic series Vikings won't want to miss out.
Come back to Francia with me. You will have everything you need, everything you ever wanted.
Clive Standen, who plays the warrior Rollo, will be attending this year's pop culture celebration, along with Lucy Martin, who portrayed Ingrid in the later seasons. And for the Trekkies, they'll be joined by Gates McFadden, best known as Dr. Beverly Crusher from Star Trek: The Next Generation and later Star Trek movies. All 3 will be meeting fans, taking photos and signing autographs, and will take the stage for a live 45-minute conversation. Comic-Con runs October 24th to 26th at the RBC Convention Center. Emma Stone is all about the fall season.
We are here today for a very incredible project and a story of love and friendship and creativity, and it is for the September issue of Vogue.
Stone is the cover model for Vogue's September issue. Vogue shared a bit of the behind the scenes from the shoot. Louis Vuitton's artistic director crafted a couture collection exclusively for Emma Stone. Mark Ruffalo is up to the task.
It's easy to talk about forgiveness and mercy. It's not your loss.
This is the trailer for the mini crime series Task. It's from the same creator as The Mayor of Easttown. The series begins streaming September 7th. Your primetime lineup kicks off with a double dose of The Big Bang Theory, followed by back-to-back episodes of The Rookie at 8. E-Talk wraps up the night at 10:30. It's all right here on CTV.
You are so professional, Rochelle, completely unfazed every time we're hearing these massive claps of thunder in our studio. I react every single time. Here's a look outside right now, out through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. Yes, rain pouring down right now. You can see the flashes of lightning just by that glance outside. Our temperatures dropped off a little bit. It was slightly milder first thing this morning. Now we're sitting at 15 degrees, but that's still above seasonal, 12 degrees a normal low. All of southern Manitoba, a little bit warmer than that. It will be a little bit cooler though through parts of northern Manitoba, and even soggier across northern Manitoba than what we're seeing here in the south, especially because for northern Manitoba this isn't a passing moment, whereas for us these storms, I'll show you the satellite image in a second, they'll move on through. We'll get back to some sunnier, hotter conditions later today. Right now we've got some severe thunderstorm warnings up in parts of the northwest, and as active as it is right now through here in the central and southern Manitoba, for northern Manitoba this isn't, like I said, just a passing moment. This will be a full day event, and perhaps overnight and into tomorrow as well. We've got these showers and thunderstorms through this morning. I did get a message from Stephanie on Instagram. So Stephanie, thank you for reminding me that there's a football game tonight, maybe. Kickoff at 7:30, and we could be getting the next round of storms passing through about that time. So do just keep an eye on the sky for that. Colleen Brady, she'll have all your updates that you need for later today. Anyway, back after today, we're back to some slightly cooler temperatures, lots of sunshine to carry us through the weekend. Oh, and our weather picture today is pretty stunning, of this pretty smiley face in a sunflower. Thanks to Melissa for this, and keep the pictures coming please to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Thank you, Terry. Adam Sandler's Happy Gilmore sequel featured a lot of cameos, including PGA champions. Now, some of those players are sharing what it was like working as movie stars. CTV's Glenn Campbell has more on their experience.
This week, Corey Pavin will tee it up in his 9th charity classic at the Canyon Meadows Golf and Country Club. While golf is still a priority for the 1995 U.S. Open winner, he's also dabbled in acting. His latest role was in Happy Gilmore 2.
You can always shank one.
I met Adam a long time ago, and we keep in touch a little bit. And a good friend of ours works for Netflix, and he kind of ran the show and made sure that I was involved in it as well.
More than 20 current and former stars of the PGA Tour made an appearance in Happy Gilmore 2. Pavin says it was a long day of filming the clubhouse scene, but it gave him time to brush up on his acting skills.
They do so many takes that you can't screw it up. So, eventually you kind of relax and you just say your lines and do it.
Happy Gilmore 2 is a hit on Netflix, and it's been a hit for golf as well. You get to know the players outside of the ropes.
These guys get to have a little fun with it and some humor behind it, because most times when they're on the golf course, they're very stoic. right? But the Happy Gilmore is anything but that. So I loved seeing it. I think it's great for the game of golf.
Pavin's not sure if this will be his last film, but it's nice to say he has fame away from the fairways.
But it's fun to be in a movie. It's nice to say it, that I've been in 2 movies now. So I'm a bona fide movie star.
On Tuesday, we saw former champs Ken Tanagawa and Ken Duke try the Happy Gilmore swing. Pavin is now 65 and says, not a chance he's trying.
No, I'm too old to try that. I'm afraid to. I might break something.
Whoa! The club went further than the ball.
Hey there, Lindsay Hamilton inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Wednesday, and we are heading to the Lone Star State for this one. It is the D-backs and Rangers. You got 2 on for Adrian Del Castillo. Lines one to right. Ketel Marte tries to score. Ezekiel Duran showing off the arm with that throw. And Marte cut down at the plate. Didn't even attempt to slide there. Duran's defensive efforts definitely earning your must-see moment from Wednesday. Meanwhile, today on TSN, we've got a full day of quarterfinal action from the Cincinnati Open that includes Felix Auger-Aliassime against the world #1, Jannik Sinner. It all starts at 10 a.m. Central Time over on TSN 4 and 5. That's all for now from the Sports Center newsroom. Enjoy the tennis and have a great day.
TSN Must See Moments brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, your Hunter Douglas shade provider for over 40 years.
When you visit a pavilion, not only are you getting wonderful memories, you're also maybe getting some wonderful souvenirs. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning, Rochelle. I know I'm eyeing up these scarves, but then I saw chocolate and I was like, well, both, one for each hand. Alexandra Malkowitz joins us now to tell us all about these really pleasant things brought in from Poland as well. So let's start with the scarves. They're very stunning and truly a staple in this culture.
100%, yeah. So these are scarves, or in Polish, chusty, and they come in various different colors, and they all have the same print, but every Polish gal has one, and they're from the Highland region of Poland. So it's just to keep everyone warm up there in the mountains.
Absolutely stunning. And a lot of these souvenirs you've brought in from elsewhere. Let's talk about how amazing that is to get these unique products.
Yeah, every year we bring in souvenirs from Poland, and it's always nice to share culture with Winnipeg, and share like our favorite chocolates and just designs from Poland, and jewelry and everything like that.
When it comes to the jewelry and the style, even looking how the girls have come today, it's truly an art piece, whether it's on your head, the jewelry, the beadwork. Tell us a bit about the significance of that in this culture.
So it depends on where you're from. So we do have a specific type. It's called amber, or bursztyn. We unfortunately don't have any on display right now, but that is the most common type of jewelry here. And you can make necklaces and earrings and rings and everything like that. These particular necklaces or bracelets, they have the chusty, so the scarf around beads. So it's just a different way to wear our culture without having a giant scarf on your neck.
People come to this pavilion for what things before we're out of time?
The food, the entertainment, the fun environment, and the hospitality.
Awesome. And there's some brand new foods to the pavilion as well, and new dances, 10 different dances alternating, so you get a different show every time.
And we're going to see you dance a little later. All right. Thank you, Ainsley. And you might not want to dance outside today because it's pretty wet and it's a little bit wild.
It is a little bit wild, yeah. I just posted on my Instagram a video of what it looks like right outside the CTV studios. So if you're not around the downtown area often or curious to see what it looks like, it's stormy this morning, but you can see that too with our glance out across the city. It's 15 degrees right now. East-southeast winds are 30 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling, the humidity sitting at 95%. Yes, we're dealing with that dark gray sky, and that video that I just posted, you can just see the winds just kind of like coming through with this wash of rain and the puddles forming. Oh, It's something else. And yet it's something more across northern Manitoba. That's where the warnings are this morning. Up in the northwest, we have the severe thunderstorm warning. We did have some severe thunderstorm watches earlier this morning, but they've lifted even though the storm is not yet fully passed. We're still right in the thick of it, rolling over Winnipeg and much of southern Manitoba, central Manitoba as well. But it is steadily pushing off to the east as we watch it go. That'll clear things out for later on today, and it will get pretty hot. 29 degrees expected today. These winds, though, they're strong and gusty out of the south up to 50 clicks, and then another round of precipitation could roll through by evening time. So just keep that in mind that this is just round one that we're dealing with. 13 degrees our overnight low, just a few clouds. For tomorrow, a little more sunshine. Not a hot day, though. 23 degrees, a little bit of a breeze out of the west. From there, we're rolling into the weekend below seasonal, but we're back up to normal by Sunday, and from there, those seasonal temperatures start to climb again next week.
Thanks, Terry. A Northern Manitoba First Nation is demanding Manitoba Hydro restore lake levels in their community. Members of York Factory First Nation arrived in Winnipeg yesterday and protested at the Manitoba legislature. The First Nation says 2 hydroelectric dams built and operated by Manitoba Hydro have caused water levels in Split Lake to fall drastically. Water levels are so low, the ferry that connects the community has had to stop operating, cutting off access to essential goods and medicine. The First Nation adds winter roads are also now less reliable, and one protester says it's more difficult to hunt and fish.
We have a portage that the fish spawn. There's no water there no more for the fish to spawn. So how are we supposed to get our fish? Hunting is going to be coming around the corner here right away. Fall. No water to go hunt. There's no water for our boats to go anywhere.
York Factory wants the province to order Manitoba Hydro to release more water into the lake. However, Hydro says due to drought conditions, releasing more water into the lake would jeopardize its ability to supply Manitobans with electricity over the winter and into next year. Hydro says it's provided 4 boats to move people and supplies to and from the community and is paying compensation under the terms of pre-existing agreements. A state of local emergency has now been declared in Port Alberni as a massive wildfire creeps closer on Vancouver Island.
To see like the kind of fear in their eyes about their home and the sadness, worried about what it is, what could happen to their own home, it's something I'll never forget.
A nearby First Nation has also declared a state of emergency, telling people to be ready to leave on very short notice. In Port Alberni, hundreds of homes have been put on evacuation alert. The Mount Underwood fire is spreading fast, burning more than 21 square kilometers. It's being fueled by heat and strong winds. Officials say its direction toward the community was unexpected after a significant and sudden shift in the wind. Now all eyes are on the forecast as rain could help to slow things down. Turning now to Ontario's cottage country, where 2 wildfires continue to burn. Evacuation orders have not been issued, but a ban on outdoor fires is in place. The one fire started Monday in the Kirkfield area and remains out of control, while the other is in the Haliburton region. It is currently being held and is not expected to grow any further.
Was an open fire. There was nobody in the area when the crews arrived on scene.
Officials in Nova Scotia are now investigating a fire they say was caused by people. The fire started yesterday just 10 kilometers from downtown Halifax. It did lead to an evacuation of several businesses in Bayers Lake, but officials say the fire is now being held.
The approach we're taking right now is to get as many assets here as we can. If we overpay and don't need them because the fires are out, I'll take that all day long.
In Newfoundland and Labrador, firefighters are making progress on fires burning near St. John's after bringing in privately owned aircraft. Meanwhile, there have been a bunch of fires in downtown St. John's. Police say they're all considered suspicious. They are investigating and are looking to speak with anyone who may have information. And in New Brunswick, firefighting efforts and favorable weather are giving crews the upper hand on one of 2 major fires. A short period of rain brought in cooler temperatures. More thunderstorms are expected today. This is the first bit of rain New Brunswick has had this month. All week, New Brunswick has been dealing with a heat wave, leaving the forests so dry. Firefighters are tackling 2 major fires, one near Miramichi and another near Moncton. Shooting stars weren't so rare these past few nights, with the Perseid meteor showers hitting its peak. The light show is always best seen in the northern hemisphere. Weather permitting, NASA says about 50 to 100 meteors can be seen per hour during the shower, with meteors shooting across the sky at about 59 kilometers per second. Here's a look now at what's going on Osborne Street. As you can see, things have really picked up over here and slow moving probably as a result of this rain and some of the puddles out on our streets. So be mindful of that. And let's take a look now at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.36. The provincial average is lower at $1.32. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.33. The lowest price in the city is $1.27. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
Price at the pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
Here's a look at what's happening right now. It is raining in some areas, lightning and thunder as well. We're sitting at 15 degrees. More CTV Morning Live is on the way.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
All right, looking outside and seeing a little light off in the distance. It's way off in the distance, though, I'll tell you that right now. 15 degrees at the moment. The rain is still coming down. Winds out of the east-southeast, they're 30 kilometers per hour. The pressure falling and the humidity sitting at 95%. I kind of got excited when I saw that view of brightness off in the distance, and so I took a look at the satellite image. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll make it to the roof in about 10 minutes' time. Not so sure about that. Now, for northern Manitoba, we've still got the severe thunderstorm warning. That's up in the very far northwestern part of the province where the precipitation doesn't read, but it is coming down. Here's a look at what's rolling over us, and here's a little zoomed in version, and I say off in the distance because we're still dealing with strikes right in the downtown area and off to the east most certainly, but that brightness off in the distance, you can see that it is passing by. So I don't know if 10 minutes will be good enough to get me upstairs, but maybe 20 minutes. For the next time. I'll get up there before the show is out, I'm sure. This storm is passing by quickly. That will not be the case across northern Manitoba. It is just going to stall out and rain for days, or at least today, overnight, and probably tomorrow as well. You can see the slightly cooler temperatures, just 6 degrees expected in Churchill. Other places, mid to high teens with showers or thunderstorms. Some models are showing 30 to 60 millimeters of rain expected in the area, so you could be in for a bit of a doozy as far as rainfall amounts go. But if there's one part of the province needing the rain more than anyone else, it's northern Manitoba, so Mother Nature coming through. Here in the south, showers and the thunderstorms passing through this morning. We'll probably get some hot temperatures and sunshine through midday, but then a possibility of more storms rolling through later on into the evening time. And these temperatures, yes, they will be hot and well above what you would expect this time of year, but only for a day. Then we're cooling back down. Tomorrow, only 23 degrees, 22 for Saturday. 25 is seasonal. We'll be there by the end of the weekend and then start to see those temperatures rise again looking ahead to next week.
Thank you, Terry. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the RBC Convention Center visiting the Polish Pavilion. You're going to tell us about some of the attire ambassadors are wearing. Good morning.
Rochelle, the cultural attire is stunning. I feel completely underdressed right now, and I really like a pop of color, but this is a color explosion. Alexandra joins me now alongside 3 models to tell us about, 4 including her, to tell us about the beautiful outfits that they have here. Let's talk about yours because it's from a different region from the other folks.
Yeah, so we are all representing the south of Poland, but 3 different cities. So I am from Kraków, and the most significant part of that you can notice in the cultural attire is the more colors that are represented on it, the richer that family is or that person is. And then each region has its own embroidery and designs to it. So even if you look and you continue on, like my embroidery looks different than hers and even his and hers. And so she's from Rzeszów. And then we move on to the male version of that of the cultural attire, and then she is from the Highland region, so the mountain area. So we're all very similar, where we all have, or at least the women's cultural attire, as the vest and skirt and apron and all of those things, but there's different uniquenesses to each of them, and that's either the embroidery, the embellishments, or even the shoes and all of those things.
So a flower's not a flower is not a flower is not a flower. You have to look at the distinct beadwork. You guys are also dancers too. What does that look like on stage? How well does it translate?
It's amazing. The amount of colors and the skirts that when you're turning, it's just so fun to watch and be a part of as well. Because not only do, like, mine looks like this, I have a green skirt, but somebody else might have a red one or a blue one. So it's just the colors of the rainbow on stage. Yeah.
There's 10 different dances, different shows that people can see as well. So I can't wait because I'm going to learn some moves, the basic moves, Rochelle. Don't worry about that. They'll be doing all the heavy lifting, but you can see those colors in motion.
Can't wait. Thank you, Ainsley. Distraction thefts are when criminals use diversions to steal valuables such as your wallet or cell phone, but it's often expensive jewelry they're after. An Ontario man was approached in a parking lot and had a gold chain worth thousands of dollars stolen from around his neck. CTV's Pat Foran has more.
Did they give you both of these items?
They just give it to me. I'm giving it free, actually.
VJ Vikrant of Mississauga says it was last month when he was parked outside a grocery store. A woman approached him and said she was celebrating a birthday by handing out free jewelry. She put a gold-colored chain around his neck.
She did like this. And, close the hook.
Moments later, she was gone, and he realized she had removed his gold chain, which was worth thousands of dollars and had sentimental value.
This chain itself is about 60 to 70 years old. I inherited it from my father.
What he received was made of cheap plastic that looked like it came from a dollar store.
It happened so fast, actually. I just could not believe myself.
Woman gets back into the vehicle. The lady looks down, realizes the bangles from her wrist have been removed, and she has this essentially junk jewelry left behind.
York Regional Police laid charges in a case where a 78-year-old woman received serious injuries. After her jewelry was taken, there was a brief struggle and she was knocked to the ground. Radu Oracel, 35 years old, is a foreign national. He was charged with robbery, theft with violence, and dangerous operation of a vehicle. Police say many distraction thefts appear to be part of a network of organized criminals in Canada illegally practicing criminal tourism.
They're just here to commit their crimes. Unfortunately, a lot of the ones that we arrest are not Canadian citizens. They have not arrived here lawfully.
Police say as well as parking lots, distraction thefts are also happening at post office boxes. And in Ottawa last week, 90-year-old Terry Thompson had her ring stolen outside a retirement home.
She was gone in about a second.
Vikrant had planned to hand down his gold chain to his son, something he's no longer able to do.
I really feel very, very bad. Be very careful. Somebody tries to give you something.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
It's time for Let's Celebrate. Let's see who's having a celebration today. Happy 11th birthday, Zayden. Love always, Mama, Nan, Papa Hunter, Saria, Mila, and the rest of the fam jam. Congratulations to Joanne and Chris, who are celebrating 15 years of marriage. Happy birthday to Anita and Errol from your family. Happy 10th birthday to Charlie. Love your dad, brother, and all your friends and family. If someone you care about is having a birthday, anniversary, retirement, or graduation, let's celebrate. To submit your celebration, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Let's Celebrate, brought to you by Party Stuff, 3 Winnipeg locations and at partystuff.ca. CTV Morning Live weather brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Same-day oil and tire changes.
Looking outside, the rain's still coming down, lighter though than it was earlier this morning. 15 degrees with winds out of the east-southeast, 30 kilometers per hour. The pressure falling, the humidity sitting at 95%. I was saying earlier on, I posted a video to my Instagram account that you'll be able to see right in the downtown area what that rain looked like about 30 minutes ago. My goodness, it was pouring. And if you haven't been downtown lately, you'll see how pretty it looks all painted up. Speaking of colors, we've got them showing up through parts of the northwest. That is a severe thunderstorm warning. The precipitation doesn't read across northern Manitoba. There you can see it though, rolling through the south. These storms passing on by. We will see them clearing out. We're just still seeing them clinging to the edge of Winnipeg and right over downtown. Still a little bit of light rain, but the bulk of that storm activity will continue passing on through. Here's a look at the rainfall and how it will continue to stack up through the day today. For southern Manitoba, we're not going to be seeing anywhere near as much as northern Manitoba, who will deal with this rain rain throughout the day. Once we're getting into the blues, that's 15 to 30 millimeters of rain. And then once we're starting to get into the purples, this will be happening into the overnight and into tomorrow morning. That's 30 to 60 millimeters of rain, not just for northern Manitoba, areas off to the east as well. Now here you can see throughout the south, we've got hot temperatures expected today, but those temps will be cooling down as we look toward the end of the weekend.
A local athlete has been racking up awards, championship wins, and many titles in the sport of golf. Darcy Ferber has even been inducted in Manitoba's Golf Hall of Fame, and while all those feats are incredible, what's even more remarkable is that Darcy is blind. Joining us now is golfer Darcy Ferber and his brother-in-law, Ron Oliver. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Now, Darcy, golf has been a part of your life since you were young, right?
Yes, I started in 1977 at Elmhurst as a sighted golfer back then, but yes, it's been a part of my life for a long time.
And you even had a scholarship.
I did. I went to the University of Southern Mississippi from 1983 to 87, and yeah, it was a lot of good times down there, yeah.
What is it about golf that you find fascinating, that you love so much?
Well, that's a good question. My dad got me into golf, and it's just I guess the individual part of it. It's you and against the golf course, and you don't have any teammates, but I just found it was very relaxing to play, practice, and I just golfed lots and lots in the 80s and 90s, and then I just couldn't see very good after that, and I stopped golfing for 20 years.
And how difficult was it for you when you found out that you were going to lose your eyesight permanently?
Well, it wasn't that difficult because my mom, June, she's 86, she's totally blind right now, and she lives by herself, and she is the inspiration to our family, so I kind of knew it was coming, I guess. It's hard to explain, but I wasn't shocked because it was a slow process.
Okay.
It was like, it didn't happen. It happened at night at first, and then it just got, as you got older, it just got worse, and at some point, just couldn't really see nothing at all.
So 20 years no golf.
Well, yeah, 20 years. I golfed once. My friend John Ricchetti would come into town. I'd play once or maybe twice because I didn't drive anymore, and. So yeah, but then at that point in 1998, I had my first daughter, Kaylee, and so I just become a full-time dad instead of a full-time golfer.
And so then when did you start golfing again?
My big brother, Joe, he got us into blind golf. He's got the same eye disease as I do, and my younger brother, Leonard. And he discovered blind golf Manitoba, Ronnie, that's what it's called. And so, which I didn't even know existed. I had no idea. So I just basically, they said, if you can have a coach, you need a coach in visually impaired golf. So I tried it in 2015, and I just realized how much I missed the competition, because that's what I really loved when I played in the 80s and 90s, like just competing.
Yeah.
So it was good. It was so 2015 is when I got into the blind golf, the visually impaired. So I've been doing it for 10 years.
And you're winning. And
yeah, I get lucky sometimes. I won some Canadians and some provincials, and now I won the Worlds last week, which was pretty crazy.
What is it like seeing your brother-in-law be so successful at a sport that most people would think is a seeing sport?
It's crazy. It's crazy to see, to watch them play, and it's amazing to watch them play. I mean, I have friends who just say, like, how does a blind guy hit a golf ball? And if you actually see Darcy hit a golf ball, you would just, it's mind-boggling how he can play and how he can hit the ball and how he can score. And like I say, we get out, we play lots, we practice. He works on his game full time.
Wow.
And we're out there playing, and the results are there.
And this shirt is an example of your win, right? This is you won the whole thing.
I won my division in the totally blind category. Yeah, I shot 94, 101, and I ended up winning by 7, and I beat some guys from all over the world.
That is incredible.
Yeah,
you must be so proud, not just of your capabilities, how you've learned to navigate this, but also you're a role model for so many others.
Well, that I don't know, but
so humble.
I was proud to like a week ago today, last Thursday, we were getting ready for the first round, and I just felt very, very, very calm and relaxed going to the first hole, and I played very well. I saved my best round for the first round in the Worlds, which was good.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to you, and thank you so much for sharing your story with us. You're an inspiration to many.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Community Connection is brought to you by Mr. Reuter Plumbing. Born to be a hero, trained to be a plumber.
Get ready for the ultimate hoop showdown at Canada Life Centre. We're giving you a chance to score 4 tickets to the thrilling CEBL Championship weekend featuring the Winnipeg Sea Bears. Catch all the action starting August 22nd with an epic conference finals doubleheader at 7:30 p.m. plus the nail-biting championship final on Sunday, August 24th at 6 p.m. Head over to our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and hit our contest page for all the entry details. Don't miss your shot. Good morning. It's 8 o'clock on Thursday. Thank you so much for staying with us here on CTV Morning Live. In the next hour, we're going to tell you about Osborne Village Market and how it is happening this weekend. Also happening is an event happening. It's called Transpo Expo. It's happening at the Lower Fort Garry, and it's really a historical journey into the different modes of transportation we've seen here in Manitoba. But first, your headlines. Preliminary landfill search underway. Crews test new methods in hunt for missing women. Plus, Ukraine gets $1.5 billion weapons boost. European allies step up support ahead of Trump-Putin meeting. And Canada Post talks resume. Could this be the breakthrough after 18 months of negotiations? Bringing in Terry now. Quite a storm we were experiencing over the last hour or so. It's been, I can't see it because I'm here, but
it's looking a little bit brighter outside right now. Here's a look, though. This is 5:45 this morning in Rosser, Manitoba, which is about 30 minutes outside of Winnipeg to the west of us. So just around 5:45, that's a look at the sky. Those clouds, black. The lightning off in the distance. Cindy snapped this for us and shared it to us, so we always appreciate seeing what it looks like in your neighborhood. Here's what it looks like in our neighborhood right now with the raindrops still forming on the camera. 15 degrees with east-southeast winds, 30 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling, the humidity sitting at 95%. Nowhere near as dark as it was earlier this morning, but the rain starting to move on to the east right now. We do still have the severe thunderstorm warning in place in the far northwest because northern Manitoba is going to see that system just hanging around all day long, whereas no warnings or watches were issued. I mean, they were issued like before the show started even, and then they were lifted. We never did have warnings or watches issued as it rolled over us here in Winnipeg, but it was loud. The rain was coming down. I've got a video posted on my Instagram of what it looked like right in the downtown area, and it was darkness with some sideways rain due to those strong winds. The winds will be increasing. The rain will continue all through northern Manitoba, and while we're likely to see some clearing now through much of the day, there is a chance that we're getting clipped again into the evening time. And Stephanie sent me a message on Instagram reminding me that there's a Bomber game tonight around 7:30. Could be seeing some storm action again by that. For northern Manitoba, this continues overnight and into tomorrow morning. Here in the south, though, we're looking at some clearer conditions by midday. That chance of storms again into the evening, but after this, drier, sunnier, but slightly cooler. Today will be a hot one up to 29 degrees, and then temperatures dropping off after this. Stormy picture drawn by Jace, Austin, and Logan. We love the collaboration here, and thank you for sharing your art with us. We'd love to see everything that you're working on these days. So send it to us, Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Thanks, Terry. Manitoba Premier Wamkanu says a preliminary search of Brady Road landfill for the remains of 2 missing women is underway. Ashley Shingoose was one of 4 women murdered by a serial killer in Winnipeg in 2022. Tanya Nepanak went missing in 2011, and investigators have long believed her remains were also put into a dumpster and sent to the landfill.
The focus that we're working on right now is Ashley Shingoose because we have the information about the cell that we believe where she's located, but we are making plans to search for Tanya Nepanak as well.
The Premier says crews began what he called a test phase earlier this week. It involves a preliminary excavation to find out what kind of material workers will be digging through and what sort of safety protocols will need to be in place. Ground penetrating radar and other test sampling is also underway. Canoe added they'll be trying out some new methods to narrow down the search without going into details. He said the search itself will get underway later this year and more details will be coming soon. More than 14,000 people turned out for advance voting in the upcoming Battle River Crowfoot by-election. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is hoping to regain a seat in Parliament in this riding. The 14,454 people that turned out are about the same as the number of advance votes during April's federal election. Voters were given a blank ballot and asked to fill it out with the name of their preferred candidate because of the record number of candidates running in the riding. Election day is August 18th. Canada Post and its workers' union will begin 2 days of talks tomorrow. The union, which represents about 55,000 postal workers, says both sides met with federal mediators on Tuesday and will meet with Canada Post tomorrow and Monday. The talks come after workers rejected Canada Post's latest proposal, which would have seen wage hikes of about 13% over 4 years, as well as restructuring to add part-time workers. An overtime ban remains in effect. Negotiations for a new agreement have been ongoing for more than a year and a half. New this morning, Ukraine has secured $1.5 billion in U.S. weapons thanks to European allies. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky posted this earlier today saying, quote, "So far, the Netherlands contributed $500 million, a joint pledge from Denmark, Norway, and Sweden of $500 million. And yesterday, Germany added another $500 million. Meanwhile, Zelensky met with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer earlier this morning ahead of tomorrow's meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Here's a look at what's going on Kenaston and Sterling Lyon. It looks like things are moving well over here. No issues to tell you about at this point in traffic. If you see any problems out there, please let us know.
CTV Morning Live Traffic brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. No appointment needed.
Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who is live at the Polish Pavilion this morning. Of course, this is the second week of Folklorama. You're going to show us some dance moves.
Well, we'll get to that in a second, Rochelle. I know that you're so eager to see what I can do, but we'll have the pros do it in just a moment's time. Alexandra is joining us to tell us about the dances people can expect. If you've already been to this pavilion, the good news is you could see something different if you come again.
Yeah, we have, I believe, probably about 3 to 5 new dances, so each show is different, and a total of 10 dances, but 3 to 5 new dances this year. So each show is different, and it's so fun seeing all the cultural attire and the different colors that happen on stage, and the different dance moves.
Something that's hard for me to fathom too is the sheer volume of dancers that you have. Paint a picture, because there's 40 of the kids, right, and the youth, and 50 of the adults, or am I mixing that one up?
Yeah, switch it around. So there's in the whole school of dance, there's roughly 50 kids for ages 4 to 17, all in different levels, and then in the senior group, there's roughly 40 of us.
Wow, you're filling the stage. Polka is one of those, and I feel like it's I say simpler so that I can simply move to it. How do you teach the kids? We're hopping over the fire, you had said?
Yes. So I am an instructor for the 4-year-olds, and we teach them to hop over a fire or a little puddle or something, whichever one. Sometimes it becomes a very big puddle, but we want small puddles. So if you lift your right leg up, and then you'll hop over, and you'll lift your left leg up, and then you go 1, 2, 3, up, and then you'll hop, 2, 3,
I would hit the music.
Hop, 2, 3. And then as you get older, you're more experienced, then you can do
less of me.
Hey, hop.
A PC plan to improve Manitoba's healthcare system has fallen flat. 2 years ago, the former provincial government hired a company to recruit 150 new doctors for Manitoba. But as CTV's Dan Tenungra shows you, so far it's only brought in 2, and now the contract has been torn up.
Our government has contracted a recruitment firm to recruit 150 physicians.
It was touted by the former Progressive Conservative government as a step towards healing the healthcare system. But after 2 years, the company hired to recruit 150 doctors has recruited just 2. Back in July 2023, then Health Minister Audrey Gordon announced the province had awarded Canadian Health Labs a contract valued at up to $5.25 million. 150 doctors were to be recruited and split evenly between Winnipeg, northern Manitoba, and rural communities.
I'm very confident about reaching the 150 goal.
On Wednesday, the province confirmed just 2 doctors had been recruited through the contract, both from the UK and both working at clinics here in Winnipeg. The province says Canadian Health Labs is only being paid between $25,000 and $45,000 per doctor recruited. Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew says the contract has now expired and will not be renewed.
This contract under the former government, bad deal, didn't produce anywhere close to what it was supposed to. So yeah, we're getting rid of it, and we're showing I think a better approach to staffing up healthcare systems.
Kinew's government has promised to hire 400 new doctors. Since being elected, 201 net new physicians have started working.
Manitoba has a physician shortage. We know that.
Dr. Nichelle Desailly, president of Doctors Manitoba, says this is a good start, but more work is needed to deal with the province's shortages.
When it comes to family physicians who are delivering a large proportion of primary care in Manitoba, our numbers are even worse at 107 per 100,000, and that's dead last in Canada.
In a written statement, the Progressive Conservative Party says this is yet another example of the NDP inheriting a successful PC program and setting it up to fail. The contract with Canadian Health Lab was a viable recruitment tool they didn't try. It's time for the NDP to stop blaming the PCs for their healthcare failures and starting to deliver on their election promises to Manitobans. CTV News has reached out to Canadian Health Labs for comments and is waiting to hear back.
All right, still seeing the fat raindrops on our camera, but I think they're just old raindrops that are sitting there hanging out, waiting for the sun to dry them up. Looking now through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. Out at the airport, they're registering that the rain has now passed. We're back to seeing a little bit of sunshine, and you saw a little bit of a brighter sky off to the distance there. 17 degrees right now in Winnipeg, so we had dropped off to 15. We're bouncing back up again. A sure sign that that sun is coming back and is going to bring some heat. So all across southern Manitoba, mid to high teens that we're dealing with right now, but those temperatures will be soaring throughout the day today. They won't be soaring across northern Manitoba. It will be a little bit cool, and it's definitely going to be a little bit soggy. That's where the bulk of the rain is going to fall today. We do still have those severe thunderstorm warnings in place in the far northwestern part of Manitoba, northeastern part of Saskatchewan. No other storm warnings or watches issued at this time. We had some earlier in parts of southern Manitoba. Like early this morning, those have obviously now lifted, and even that storm continuing to pass off to the east. Here's a little zoomed in version right over Winnipeg, and it looks like I can head back to the rooftop safely now. The bulk of that activity is off to the east of us, but plenty of rain still will fall across northern Manitoba. By noontime today, you can see we're getting into the blues. That's 15 to 30 millimeters of rain. Now, much of the south will just be in the green zone. That's 15 millimeters or less, but I am excited to check my rain gauge in about 10 minutes time. We'll see what we've collected just from this morning's storm. 30 to 60 millimeters once you're moving into the purple zone in northern Manitoba could get there overnight and through tomorrow. We will probably be seeing some sunshine and feeling the heat through the day today, but by evening time there is the possibility another round of storms passes through, and then it does look a little bit clearer as we look ahead for the rest of the week and weekend. We're taking a break right now. We'll see you soon.
Good morning, it's 8:15. China is set to slap a 76% tariff on Canadian canola starting today, a move that will devastate an industry already struggling with a tough growing season. CTV's Alex Carpa spoke to farmers about preparing for harvest in the shadow of a trade war.
We're hopeful it's going to be pretty good. Canola is a really hard one to judge.
Manitoba canola farmer David Hamblin is keeping an eye on his crops. Drought conditions have gravely impacted farmers this year.
We still got an okay crop. I think the cereals have suffered a little bit more than some of the other crops.
Dry and warm conditions are not the only thing on his mind. Fresh new tariffs on canola imports from China is bringing forth unnecessary added stress.
Yeah, it's something that we're unfortunately getting kind of used to, that we're seeing these political things that are happening and it's not, I don't think, near as shocking as these things used to be.
Canola seed production generated $12.9 billion in 2024, making it the most valuable field crop in the country. China, which nearly sources all of its supplies of the product from Canada, announced preliminary duties on canola imports on Tuesday, escalating a years-long trade dispute.
Things are still unfolding. The challenge now is, okay, how do we survive this? How do we improve our cash flows without losing our bottom line? And that's a challenge.
Back in March, China imposed a 100% levy on Canadian canola oil and meal plus peas. With the new tariffs coming into effect on Thursday, canola farmers right across the country are dealing with a lot of uncertainty. Canada is now in trade conflicts with the world's two largest economies, China and the United States. Agriculture professor Derek Bruin says canola prices are really starting to take a hit.
On Monday, you could sell your canola to Altona for $660 a ton, and on Tuesday afternoon it went to $630. So that's a pretty big drop in a single day for any kind of market move.
Canola, we've got a couple miles up the road.
Hamblin would like to see these trade disputes resolved quickly. Despite the distractions, Hamblin says he is preparing for the harvest season. Alex Carper, CTV News, Morris, Manitoba.
A neighborhood market is bringing together community and connection to Osborne Village. The Osborne Village Market celebrates diversity and creativity while supporting local makers, vendors, and musicians. The next market is happening this weekend. Joining us now is the curator of the Osborne Village Market, as well as beadwork artist Lisa Bowden. Good morning, Lisa.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, this is a brand new market.
It is.
It's the fourth one this year, but it's like a baby. It's just starting in 2025.
Just a baby, yes. This is only going to be our second outdoor market. We started as an indoor market, and we have evolved. Our last market had 40 vendors.
Wow.
We have 20 approved vendors for this weekend, and it's a great space. We have a DJ lined up and free face painting for everyone.
What inspired you to start a brand new market?
So as a Meteor artist, as an LGBTQ artist, as a previously incarcerated artist, I wanted to create a space where everyone and anyone felt welcome, whether you were a brand new vendor or if you've been a seasoned vendor for 5 years, we'd love you to come and join. We want everyone to feel included. We want everyone to feel that you know, whether you have 10 products on your table or 50 products on your table, we want you to showcase that, and we want the community to come out and see what we're offering.
And it's a safe space. That's your main goal, right?
That is what I pride ourselves on being, is a safe place for everyone. And when I say everyone, I even mean you know, the unhoused community that lives in Osborne or in the direct area and wants to come and enjoy the music and enjoy just being around other people and talking. And you know, we have free face painting. Come get your face painted. You know, we want everyone to feel that it's a safe space, no matter what your walk of life is.
Well, you're not just the creator of the market, you're also one of the beadwork artists that will have a table set up there. You brought some of your items with us. Show off what you've got here. It's beautiful.
So I beaded this hat this year. This hat is actually for mental health awareness.
Okay.
So it says on the hat that it's okay to not be okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't even see
so
that
I did the words on the one side of them.
Oh, look at that. Now I see it. Okay, yeah.
So I did that. It says it's okay to not be okay, because I just want people to know that we're just living in a world now where it's easier to say I'm not okay than to not let people know why you're having a hard time.
Right.
So yeah, so this was one of my favorite pieces.
It's a beautiful hat, too.
Thank you so much. And this one as well. This is the shape of Winnipeg.
Yep.
And the inclusion flag inside, because this is really what I think we represent as a city, as a province, and as a country, is inclusion. So.
And we have to talk about your earrings, because I think they're stunning. Tell us about these.
So these are fire color earrings that I made. I've done a repeat of these probably 2 or 3 times. I've had custom orders for these.
Really?
So anything that you see that I make, I will redo, make custom orders. I always tweak it a little bit so it's a little bit unique, because I like everyone to have something that's unique. But yeah, all these.
Gorgeous.
Thank you.
Okay, let's talk about the market. Where can people check it out? When is it happening?
So this weekend we have Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 5 both days. We have a DJ joining us both days, and free face painting from 12 to 2 on both days.
And bring some cash.
And yes, bring some cash. We have great vendors that are coming. We have 3D printers. We have painters. We have beadwork artists.
Yes.
We have hopefully some delicious food. We're just waiting for public health to approve our food vendors. And yeah, it's going to be a great weekend.
Well, Lisa, this sounds great. And of course, if you want more information, we have a link on our website as well. Lisa, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful work.
Thank you.
Nice work.
All right, so I came out here armed with an umbrella, but sure enough, I don't need it. I can still see those dark clouds off to the east right now, but let me show you this. Wowza. This was emptied this morning before that storm came through. Where are the numbers, Terry? There, line them up. Why are you showing stuff to a camera so hard for me? You'd think I would have done this before. 15 millimeters of rain from this morning alone. My goodness, that's a lot. So what I'll do is I'll dump that out in a little bit. Probably not on the flowers. They've had enough of a drink. But then we'll see what we collect again tonight, because that was just perhaps round one of 2 rounds that we could be seeing today with the showers or thunderstorms rolling on through. It's 17 degrees. My hands are now wet. Southeast winds, they're 10 kilometers per hour. The pressure falling, the humidity sitting at 94%. And as I mentioned, still seeing that darker sky off to the east, but to the west, the sun is shining. It's looking good. We're going to enjoy more of that sunshine today and some heat that comes with it. Temperatures all across the south will be soaring today. I'm talking some high 20 temps. We've had some cooler weather through most of this week, and we're going to get back to that again for tomorrow. But today, a little spike with the temperatures. Now, we've seen that first round of precipitation. Could get another round of storms tonight, but for northern Manitoba, it's not going to stop. That rain is going to start. It's going to continue all day long. You're going to get plenty of it overnight and into tomorrow, too. A sunflower with a little smile on its face puts a smile on my face, too. Thanks to Melissa for this. And keep the pictures coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
CTV Morning Live Weather is brought to you by Destination Dinner Stage, Manitoba's only musical dinner theater.
Turtles may not seem like a typical household pet, but for one Manitoban, they're family. And now he's offering a hefty reward after he says his beloved turtles were stolen last month. CTV's Daniel Homerson has the story.
I remember him saying something to the effect that, who would steal turtles?
Benjamin Wiesenthal has been trying to answer that question for the past 3.5 weeks after someone stole his pet turtles from inside his home south of Gilmore.
One turtle I acquired in 1992 was brought in from Vancouver, and the second turtle I acquired in 2000 from Petland.
The missing reptiles are 2 different species of box turtles, similar to the ones seen here. Both are female and about 5.5 inches in length.
There's not much in the way of interaction between them and me, but I've always liked, reptiles.
Wiesenthal says the turtles were taken on July 19th after he went out biking for a few hours.
Following morning, around 11:30, I went to go feed the animals, and I noticed they were missing.
He says there was no sign of a break-in and that whoever took them likely knew what they were looking for.
The place didn't look ransacked like somebody was trying to look for money or jewelry or whatever.
Wiesenthal says an acquaintance had been at the house the morning the turtles disappeared, but he says she claims she wasn't involved.
She denied it, and I took her for her word.
Now he's turned to social media and is pleading for his pet's safe return.
I'm offering, a $6,000 reward for the return, no questions asked.
Wiesenthal says he's concerned about the turtles' health and well-being, noting they require special care, including a controlled climate and a specific diet.
I've had them for years, and they're important to me. I guess you could say that with anyone who has had a pet for years.
An RCMP spokesperson tells CTV News Mounties received a report of the theft and say the investigation is ongoing. Daniel Homerson, CTV News, Gimli.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
Good morning. During the fur trade, people got around in moccasins, canoes, boats, and Red River carts. Later, the train became a mode of transportation, and eventually cars got us around. You can take a ride in history and the many ways people got around at a special event at the Lower Fort Garry National Historic Site this weekend. It's called Transpo Expo, and it's free. Joining us now to tell us more is Interpretation Officer Marc-André Bellecourt. Good morning, Marc-André.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. Now, this event takes us down history lane and the many modes of transportation humans have had. Tell us about that.
Yeah, there's many modes of transportation that are attached to the fort's history.
And what's particularly interesting, in my opinion, about places like Lower Fort Garry and southern Manitoba is that we have quite a few various modes of transportation that are very typical to the area. I have one right over my shoulder here that some of you may recognize as the Red River Cart. We also have York boats, and all kinds of other modes of transportation that we're going to highlight over the weekend. Among things, vehicles. Here, the big house that I'm standing next to at the moment was host to the Winnipeg Motor Country Club in the early 20th century. So we have a connection to all kinds of modes of transportation that we're going to try to highlight here at Lower Fort Garry this weekend.
And the Red River Cart that we see behind you, what can you tell us a little bit about the history and what it was used for?
Well, this weekend we're super exciting because we're as part of our knowledge sharing series. We're going to be host to Jerome Cartworks. So Jerome Adama and Kelly Jerome are going to be here on site. Adama is an expert in the building of Red River carts. And what's really neat about Adama is that he studies how those Red River carts were used. So of course they were used by the Métis for the bison hunt, going all over the prairies to harvest bison throughout the 19th century. And Adama is not only a builder, he actually challenged himself in doing some of those historic treks over the past decade or two. So he's a wealth of information that we can meet here at Lower Fort Garry and trying to understand what that would have been like in the 19th century to go bison hunting using one of these Red River carts.
That is fascinating. And of course, this is a really great location to host this. What do you want people to know about the event that's happening this weekend?
Well, it is free. It's free all summer to come and visit us. This weekend, it's a great opportunity to come and discover our site under another lens, because we tend to cover a lot of fur trade history, but there's all kinds of various angles that Lower Fort Garry can be talked about, and it's a great opportunity to come and see Lower Fort Garry under another lens, in the sense that if you've come before, there's nothing wrong in coming again to see what we have to offer.
And of course, Transpo Expo is happening Saturday from 10 to 4:30, and again, it's free. Thank you, Marc-André.
Thanks for having me.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
To explore that and seeing it from a different perspective.
Absolutely, yeah, very cool. Okay, speaking of cool, nothing about today is going to feel cool here in the south, because the temperatures, they're going to be hotter than anything we've had so far this week. And then after this, they'll settle down again. But we're getting a little bit of spike with the heat. We're also getting a little bit of sunshine back again. A brighter sky out there this morning after it looked like pure darkness. It was like midnight an hour ago with those dark clouds that rolled over us. We were wondering where the sun was. Well, here it is back again. 17 degrees is warming us up now. South-southeast winds 10 clicks. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 94%. For northern Manitoba, might still be looking pretty dark. You've got thunderstorm warnings in place. That's the far northwestern part of the province, although much of northern Manitoba will deal with that rain throughout the day today. A look at the satellite image, and though the precipitation doesn't read up north, you can see what passed over us earlier on this morning, but now it's pushing off to the east, still to hit parts of the southeast and roll right on into parts of northwestern Ontario. However, I've been saying that's just round one. We could be seeing a little more later on today, perhaps around the time that the Bomber game is kicking off, so just keep an eye out for that. Throughout the day, though, these clouds will clear. We'll get the heat, 29 degrees. That's well above seasonal. There will be a bit of a breeze out of the south, at times gusting to 50 clicks, and then that chance of showers or thunderstorms into the evening once again. Just a few clouds, though, overnight as we drop down to 13 degrees. Wind shifting out of the west to about 10 kilometers per hour. Those winds will continue out of the west for tomorrow. Plenty more sunshine, nowhere near as much heat. A little bit cooler for tomorrow with a high of about 23 degrees. From there, slightly cooler than seasonal temperatures as we're rolling into the weekend Saturday, but back up to the seasonal 25 by Sunday. And from there, we start to rise once again as we continue on into next week.
Thank you, Terry. People flying with Air Canada could be in for a bumpy stretch of travel as the airline begins to cancel flights ahead of a possible strike by flight attendants.
Yes, definitely worried.
We're supposed to return out of Barcelona on the 29th,
but
you'll wait and see if there's a plane for you.
yeah, I'm sure they'll look after us.
So how will it all work out if your return flight isn't available? Well, when a flight cancellation is within an airline's control, passengers are guaranteed additional compensation above and beyond the cost of their ticket. But a labor dispute is considered outside of the airline's control, so the airline will still need to complete the traveler's itinerary by rebooking with a competitor. If there are no options available, the passenger will get a refund, but will still be stuck where they are. In a press release, Air Canada says given other carriers are already very full due to the summer travel peak, securing such capacity will take time and in many cases will not be immediately possible. U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin will be meeting tomorrow, and Trump had this stern warning ahead of it all.
I don't have to say there will be very severe consequences.
This was directed at Putin if the Russian president isn't serious about negotiating tomorrow in Alaska. Trump also said he wants to move quickly towards another summit that would include the Ukrainian president if tomorrow's meeting goes well. Trump met with European leaders yesterday, where everyone agreed that any change to Ukraine's borders must be decided by Ukrainians. A meteor shower brought a lot of people outdoors across the country, and while some saw meteors, a few people saw something else, something they've never seen before. But what that something is a mystery to them. CTV's Scott Lightfoot went searching for answers.
On a night when many were looking up, hoping to catch the Perseid meteor shower,
That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life.
residents across parts of Canada and the U.S. saw something else.
All of a sudden, literally out of nowhere, came this puffy, kind of looked like a bow tie with really pretty ends to it.
But no one seemed sure of just exactly what they were looking at.
I'm 68 years old, and I've looked at the sky for many years, and I've never, ever seen anything that came close to what this was.
Jim Walsh captured this video from outside his cottage near Ottawa. He thought he heard raccoons in the trash, but when he went outside, what he saw was something he couldn't explain. And he wasn't the only one.
Right over there, I could see the Big Dipper in the background, actually.
The cell phone videos and photos don't do it justice, according to those who saw it with their own eyes.
It looked like a white light, and it had like a spirals, and it was slowly moving.
Looked like a kind of a bright light in the middle with wispy cloud-like things coming, almost looked like wings coming off both ends of it. We've got two grandsons here. One of them lost a tooth yesterday, and they're convinced it was a tooth fairy leaving with one of their teeth.
It was a fairy of sorts, according to those who watch the sky for a living.
It is just a rocket that's falling back to Earth. Standard rocket procedure. Allumage de GSR et décollage.
Parts of this rocket launched last evening from French Guiana, ferrying a European weather satellite into polar orbit.
And even though it was nighttime for us here on the ground, because the rocket was so high up at 800 kilometers and far enough east, it was still being lit by the sun.
When it's falling back to Earth over the Atlantic Ocean, it's still slightly burning. And so you see that plume from the fuel, from the exhaust that's coming as it's sort of fizzling out and falling back to Earth. And it looks wild.
A wild few minutes for stargazers who thought they might see a meteor and ended up seeing what was, at least for the moment, an unidentified flying object.
Lots of stuff from space. It's gorgeous when you see it through a telescope, but looking at it with the naked eye, this was something completely brand new.
Scott Lightfoot, CTV News.
Pretty cool. All right, here's what's happening at Portage at Polo Park on the streets. It looks like things are moving well over here. Lots of puddles out there, though, so be mindful of pedestrians when you travel in the city today. And let's take a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.36. The provincial average is lower at $1.32. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.33. The lowest price in the city is $1.27. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
Price at the pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
Let's check in now on our question of the day. Stormy skies calling. What's your go-to comfort food on a day like today? And Cheryl says, homemade soup and biscuits. Yes, delicious. Thank you, Cheryl. Susan says, a hot cup of coffee with cinnamon sugar toast. Ken says, on a day like today, I like to snuggle up with a big frosty milkshake. Okay. Marlene says, bannock and stew. Natalie says, I would say for weather like this, I would have some nice homemade waffles and a coffee. Chris says comfort food on a day like today would be homemade chili with made from scratch garlic bread. And that's from Chris. And then Ken says cheese and crackers with a nice Chianti. Thanks, Ken. And the go-to food on days like this are leftovers from last night's barbecue. Melissa Nebes, thanks so much for your responses. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the Polish Festival this morning, or the Polish Pavilion this morning. Good morning.
It's going to be a festival in our mouths, Rochelle.
Yes.
you mentioned leftovers, and it's funny that you did because it's the perfect transition into this. This is, I would say, a local Polish invention that we're going to be talking about at the Polish Pavilion. Martin's joining us once again to tell us all about it. So, how is it created, and for what reason?
Definitely. So, all credit goes to Krzysztof Uliczko. It is basically a perfect meal to have after the day after a party or when you're perhaps hungover. It entails rye bread, coleslaw, and pork cutlet. What more do you need?
Mm-hmm. And what else is on the menu at the Polish Pavilion?
Well, this is your opportunity to have blueberry pierogies. In Poland, pierogies can either have cheese in it or actually with fruits like blueberries, strawberries. So we offer blueberry pierogies. We also have pork hock. We have something called bigos, or hunter stew, and that includes cabbage, bay leaves, spices, and meat.
Oh, wow. And imported beverages as well, which is neat because you're going to get something. That's what I love about Folklorama. You're going to get something that you wouldn't necessarily outside of that. What's on?
Definitely. So on the left-hand side there, you have something called Wiśniówka, which is cherry vodka. And you also have Żubrówka, which is grass vodka. Poles are very inventive people, so they can make vodka about anything. And then on the left-hand side there, you have Żywiec and Leżajsk, which are imported beer, but you can also go to Canola and buy them. I won't give you any other ideas than that. And you also have this syrup here, and it is actually a popular practice in Poland to put syrup in beer, and I dare all of you to try that.
I've never heard of that. The grass vodka, how much does it taste like grass?
It tastes like good grass, bison grass. If you know what that tastes like, then kudos to you. But actually, a perfect mix to make with that bison grass vodka is adding apple juice to that. Mm-hmm. So you get your vitamin C and your alcohol.
Mm-hmm. Apple pie. I love it. Okay. Come to Folklorama. There's only so many days left.
Absolutely. I can't even believe it. Okay, thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now.
Good grass. Say no more. The grass got watered this morning. My plants got watered this morning. Oh, my goodness. Look at this. 15 millimeters almost. Almost. Like the top of the little foam thing. So probably about 14 millimeters of rain. That's what fell. Whoops, I keep turning it the wrong way. Figure it out, Terry. Anyway, that's what fell just from this morning. This was completely emptied out. I'm not going to add that to my plans. You know, I have a peace lily at home. It was looking really good earlier this summer. After all the rain that we got over the weekend, I don't know if you know much about peace lilies, and you can send me a message and let me know. It is struggling right now. Let me tell you, like, it is so unhappy. I don't even know if it's coming back again. Anyway, I'm getting this ready for possibly round 2. We could get another round of precipitation into the evening time, but throughout the daytime, the sun is going to come out. It's going to bring the heat. We've got temperatures that will be soaring throughout the day today. Today will probably be the hottest day of the week here through the south, but for northern Manitoba, while you're going to see the rain throughout the day today, probably even overnight, and tomorrow, temperatures there will be a little bit cooler. Speaking of cooler, we're getting back to the cooler temperatures as early as tomorrow and into the weekend. Low 20s versus the high 20s that we'll experience later today. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
Weather brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful at 900 Lorimer Boulevard, featuring Hunter Douglas shades.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
12 years ago, lightning struck and changed Paul Matheson's life forever. He developed health issues and went into a deep funk, but he eventually found recovery in an unusual way. Here's CTV's Maria Saru.
Step for step, Paul Matheson is never alone out here. Some follow him on 4 legs, some on 2. This farm wasn't always a part of his plan, but a 1 in a million moment rewrote the rest of his life.
At the end of the day, everything happens for a reason, and I guess this was the reason.
On a day as sunny as this one in August 2013, Matheson says a storm suddenly started. He ran outside to roll up his truck windows when he was struck by lightning.
There was a big bang and white flash all at once. The lightning hit the telephone pole, come down the guide wire, and basically threw me into the truck.
In the aftermath, Matheson was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder and had to give up his work as a paramedic. For nearly 3 decades, he served communities in Canada and around the world, from Algeria to Paris.
Now Matheson's work is here at the Brudenell Miniatures Barnyard Zoo. It all started with a pint-sized horse he bought his granddaughter. Then, over the years, he filled a farm.
These days, it's how he gives back.
It's our favorite place to come to every single time we come visit PEI. It brings the kids a lot of joy.
I like seeing the animals. They're so cute, and I just like to have a chance to feed them. He bites my hand.
Matheson says it's these smiles that make the experience all mean something.
What's your favorite animal?
The PTSD is hard for him to talk about, but he wants to help raise awareness. He says while lightning can strike without warning, so can happiness. Maria Saru, CTV News, Brudenell, Prince Edward Island.
If you love the outdoors, competitions, and you're an adrenaline junkie, you can get your fix in a 23-mile race in a Manitoba wildlife area. It's happening in the Souris Riverbend Wildlife Management Area, and you can either run or ride your way through the scenic challenge. It's called Rider versus Runner. Joining us now is the organizer, Jeff Bond. Good morning, Jeff.
Oh, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for joining us. Now tell us about this event. It's quite a thrilling race, isn't it?
It is. It's one of the favorites of the runners for sure. It's a 23-mile looped race, competing essentially a head-to-head against the endurance riders. So this is an event that's put on by the distance riders of Manitoba, and we just kind of work in tandem with them and race against them on the 23-mile distance.
And it's also the area that makes the competition so grand. Tell us about where you are and where it's happening.
Yeah, so just southeast of Brandon, it's really a hidden little nugget of trail system within there on the wildlife management area. They're trails that the distance riders put in about 25 years ago, single track. So during the race, there's 6 river crossings, lots of hill climbing and descent, so about 800 meters of elevation gain and loss, including on top of the 23 miles that they're running as well.
Okay, so you can do the challenge in 2 ways. Is that how it works?
Absolutely, yeah. So there's lots of horses out. Some would be just out for, a casual ride for the day. Others are doing the 12-mile, the 23, or there's a 46-mile distance that the horses are doing as well.
So I thought riding meant you were on a bicycle, but you're on a horse.
They're on horse, yep.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's unique because, as far as I know, this is the only person versus horse race in Canada. There's a few in the UK and the US, and nothing quite like this. Most of them elsewhere are on road, and this is definitely very much single track and very much the trails that trail runners are used to.
So describe to me what it looks like, what it feels like when you're part of this competition.
Well, it's interesting because the way we have it set up, the horses do one loop first, and the runners do another loop. So they're running against each other on time, but not directly on the same trail. So with that, the runners go all out because they don't know how far ahead or behind they are. So everybody just leaning really hard into it, and it's a close-knit group of people. The trail community is fantastic anyway, and so we get lots of great people out. Everybody's jacked and running and having a lot of fun.
How do you train for something like that?
A lot of people run a lot of distance. They do a lot of hill training, and this is essentially kind of a marathon distance. So pick a marathon training program and then throw a pile of hills in there.
It's also raising money for a good cause. Tell us what the money is going to be used for.
Yeah, the money, any funding goes right back to the distance riders of Manitoba, and it's really just for all trail maintenance, trail signs, and a lot of the work and equipment that they need just to maintain the trails over there. So, it's not for profit. This is really just for fun and a love project of mine.
And this is happening next Saturday, August 23rd. And how do people get involved?
We have a Facebook page, Rider versus Runner, and then I put the registration page on there as well. Mm-hmm. And then it's really just kind of through either myself or the Manitoba Association of Trail Runners is another spot to find information. Jeff, thank you for sharing this with us today. Oh, thanks for having me on. Anytime. Good luck. All right. I don't know about racing against a horse, but I probably wouldn't do well.
Some training required, for
yes,
sure.
Yes.
Let's take a look outside, shall we? Because what a spectacular morning we've had. Now we're seeing that brighter blue sky peeking out from behind the clouds. Still those raindrops on the camera, but that's from earlier. They'll be drying up throughout the day. 17 degrees with south-southeast winds 10 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 94%. Yes, we're going to get that sunshine back, but not the case through northern Manitoba. You remain under the severe thunderstorm warning. That's for northwestern Manitoba, northeastern Saskatchewan, but all of northern Manitoba will be dealing with the rain, not just through the day, overnight, and tomorrow. You got plenty more to come. A solid soaking, perhaps for a couple of days. We had those storms rolling through earlier on this morning. I was saying I have posted on my Instagram if you want to see what the rain looked like in the downtown area, like within the 7 o'clock hour. The sky was dark. It looked like midnight, and rain was just pouring down sideways. It was pretty spectacular. Our rooftop rain gauge collected almost 15 millimeters. That's from round 1. We still could get round 2 rolling through later on into the evening time. So the possibility, maybe around the time that the bombers are kicking off this afternoon, that could be when we get another round of thunderstorms or showers. Then it's back to the sunshine. Slightly cooler temperatures after they spike today. 29 degrees. You'll be feeling the heat. And then it will cool down a little bit. Then it's back to seasonal. Yes, 25 degrees, that's normal. And from there, we're slowly going to see the mercury climbing throughout next week. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center.
Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
Before we say goodbye, we're going to kick things off with a cute attempt at coordination.
1, 2, 3. So close, wrong finger, but you've got the right idea. Like this.
So close, but so far away. Uncle Caden is trying to teach his little nephew how to do a thumbs up with little success. Over 1 million people have enjoyed watching the little guy try to figure out his fingers. Oh my goodness, so cute. And from a slow learner to a fast learner.
Pretty little baby.
Talk about a copycat while trying to get their owner's attention. This kitty took the pup's lead and started jumping up and down as well. These two really wanted to get inside, so it must have been feeding time. Look at
so much to love about. So much to love about.
They're both very sweet. That does it for us. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.